Have your sports curiosity cured.
Down to Martel, reaches the winner. Walks out of the corner, feeds that back to Vernon with a shot to play the back. Strikes with 2:40 in the third period.
A veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years.
Four. It was big four. Smith is there. Jackson got away. Now reloads and throws the Flowers downfield. He's got it for a touchdown. They had Jackson. 2 Steelers. He escaped and finds Flowers, and the Ravens take the lead.
Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
Hathaway, as you said, he hasn't been in the lineup. Does that change his response? Maybe. Oh, here's the steal. Breakaway. Excellent to McDavid. He scores. Oilers right back in the game. It's 3-1 on McDavid's 25th.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 577 Tuesday, January the 6th. Man, we got some great weather coming up here in the next few days in the City of Champions on a game night for the Edmonton Oilers. They are back at it with the Nashville Predators in town. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial, on your morning drive, wherever you're heading in this fine Tuesday morning. You can also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like and a subscription. We would really appreciate that. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, even the old Twitch. And as always, we are streaming on the many platforms out there, on iHeartRadio, TuneIn app, even sports1440.ca. Plus, if you miss any part of any show, it turns into the many podcasts that are out there on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Subscribe there. It's free. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show. Our text line is always open, and it'll be quite busy, I would imagine, with the World Juniors yesterday and the Oilers today. Give us a shout at 833-401-1440. Would love to see what you have to discuss this morning on a Tuesday, again, where the Oilers are home to Nashville. Oilers come in with 20 wins on the year. Nashville's got 19. So after a really slow start, the Predators have come on of late. They're not too far back of the Oilers in the standings. And I mean, everyone knows how jam-packed it is. So Nashville's coming on. The Oilers, 2 losses, including the Saturday afternoon matinee affair to the Philadelphia Flyers. The good news is that maybe the Nashville Predators are exactly what the Oilers need. Because it seems that the Oilers have had their way with Nashville for quite some time. Everyone knows that Leon Draisaitl scores for fun against the Predators. Nashville won Oilers won all 3 games against Nashville last year. And you know what? Cal Pickard was in goal for all 3 of them. If you go by who's in the starter net yesterday, that was Connor Ingram. You think about some recent success against the team. Cal had a .934 save percentage in those 3 wins against Nashville. All 3 wins that the Oilers had last year, he was in goal for them. Again, Leon Draisaitl scores at will. 26 goals, 45 points in his last 20 games against Nashville. Connor McDavid, he's right behind Leon, to be honest with you. 11 multi-point games, 10 goals, 26 assists in his last 15 games. It's just insane. And Connor's got that a 15-game point scoring streak going on this year, where he's got 14 goals, 22 assists. So there'll be something to keep an eye on, the success, and a lot of it is on the power play, and the Oilers come in with a top-ranked power play, 33.6. PK for Nashville's at 81.9, so obviously special teams are critical and always come into play when the Oilers are playing the Predators. Well, the World Junior Championship came to a close yesterday in Minnesota, and it was good. It was great to see a pretty good crowd for the gold medal game yesterday, Sweden and Czech. And, maybe they pulled a lot of people down from the top and just got them down to the lower bowl to make it look good. I'm not sure exactly what the number was, but, I mean, the attendance for the 2 weeks just wasn't very good. But it was good to see that last night for the gold medal game. Now, Sweden wins at 4-2. Just the second gold medal for the Swedes since 1981. Czechs pick up their fourth consecutive medal. As much as a guy was impressed with how Sweden played for 56, 57 minutes because the Swedes were tactical. They were robotic. They were in perfect position with and without the puck in all three zones. They didn't give up much, very little. Juracek had one off the crossbar, maybe another couple of opportunities, but not much. And in World Junior play, where mistakes are way more than what you see at the NHL level, the way that the Swedes played for, again, those 55, 56 minutes was just totally impressive. As impressive as that was, it was equally impressive to see Czech come back. And they came back in the last 3-4 minutes, and when they had the 6-on-5, to score 2 goals and get back in the game and really, really give the Swedes a scare, because that's exactly what they did. They scored the 3-2 goal with 26, 27 seconds left. And they were in the Swedish zone for like 3 consecutive minutes, and they kept the puck in. And the puck was bouncing after like a block shot, rebound, would just go directly to a Czech player. And they played their hearts out. And I was so impressed with the guts and the fortitude of the Czechs that it was amazing to watch these young guys. And then you saw the emotion pour out after the game, and they weren't able just to contain themselves. They got so many good players on that team. And we said it at the start of the tournament when they beat or lost to Canada on Boxing Day. Look out for these guys. They're a good team. They're a little more run and gun than, we see like Sweden, maybe Finland, Canada for that matter. I mean, they run and gun with Canada and beat them in the semifinals. But really full marks to Czechia, and an amazing performance. Just was fun to watch these guys play, and they played their hearts out. Canada, by the way, obviously won the bronze medal yesterday afternoon, beating Finland 6-3. So you have to give Canada credit for regrouping. They had their hearts ripped out the night before, losing to the Czechs in the semifinals, and nobody wants to play for bronze. You can say that. And I'll be honest, I don't even know if I believe everyone's saying 10, 15 years down the road when you say, hey, we won the bronze. I don't even know if that's true. Not at the Canadian level. You might say it's great that you picked up a medal, but I don't see 15 years down the road these guys getting together and saying, whoa, boy, it was great to win the bronze. I don't see that. Some people do. I don't. Zane Parekh had a couple more points, so he's now the all-time scoring defenseman with 13. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him moving forward here. He's, obviously a Calgary draft pick. Started the season with the Flames, was in and out of the lineup. The offensive ability is there. Everyone can see it. He sees the ice exceptionally well. He's got a good shot, good wrist shot. But he is a liability defensively still. He's got to learn that part of the game, and that's got to have something to move forward when he becomes an NHL regular, because the way he plays, he can't become an NHL regular right now. He's got to work at that craft. He's got to work at a lot of things. It's the defensive part is way harder. Everyone knows that. You can make the comparisons to many other players, and many other defensemen have gone down this road before where they were exceptional at their offense because it comes natural to these guys. The defense doesn't, because you got to work at it. So he just needs to add that that part of the game. He needs to add that to his repertoire. 7:09 in Edmonton. Hey, let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne on a Tuesday morning. Good morning, Duke. Did you get to watch a little bit of the games yesterday?
I did, yeah. Once I got home, I tuned into the Canada game, and it was entertaining, right? Back and forth, a lot like the New Year's Eve Finland game was, actually, especially for the first couple periods. And then the gold medal game, yeah, it had my full undivided attention. in the evening. And your description of how Sweden played was really spot on, Kev. That it was
good,
like tactical in nature, right? The way that they like almost suffocated the Czechs, and the game had a lot of pace to open up, and then once the Swedes kind of settled in and started playing the game that they clearly wanted to, they controlled it. And you got to give a ton of credit to the Czech players, the way they battled back and made a game of it in the final few minutes. It was exciting, and then the empty netter put a little bit of a damper on all that. I think most of us hockey fans with no allegiances in the game, we're rooting for the late tying drama and then maybe get to see some gold medal overtime or something, but not to be. We talked about it before the tournament started. I know we'll have a Laddie back in on Thursday, but this Czech program is obviously on a really nice trajectory. I predicted they'd play in the gold medal game. It's unfortunate it came at the expense of the Canadian program, but man, that blue line was really impressive. And that Galvis on the back end, the smaller guy, undrafted last year. I much like, say, Ethan McKenzie, the Oil King here for Team Canada, who's been passed over a couple times. You have to think that there'll be a team taking a pretty long look at him, or both of them, excuse me, in the first, I don't know, three, maybe even at worst 4 rounds in this upcoming summer's draft.
You know, the one thing I was noticing, Duke, about, and I know like the Oilers have given up many of their picks, right? We all know that. But I noticed a lot of guys on, Sweden, Finland, that were, 5th, 6th rounders, guys that are still where the Oilers had picks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
So I really noticed that. The other thing that I noticed after Juracek scored to make it 3-1, that was a pretty good shot, obviously.
Oh, God, yeah.
But he had been out there for quite a while, and he wasn't out there for a good minute or like the next wave.
The next wave of the Czechs attack, yeah.
And they did score finally with 26 seconds or 7, whatever it was. But he was on the bench because they just, I think he was gassed.
Zapped a little bit. I could only imagine,
so
how much they've leaned on him on that. Like I said, it's a loaded blue line, but he's clearly their top player. And he was playing like 25 minutes a night, I think, on average in the tournament. So all of a sudden, the final day of that, the emotional investment, the physical investment, I would think that with 27 seconds left or so, you'd be a little gassed.
Yeah, like even the one guy that I noticed, and I mean, he was the top goalie, is Luve Herrenstam.
Yeah.
Sweden.
He was really good last night.
And now, do you know what pick he was in, Duke?
No,
I think I do. I thought it was a 6th rounder to St. Louis. 6th round, 179th overall in 2025 to St. Louis. Those are the ones like and I think the Oilers believe they have one in Janssen, right?
Right.
But still, these are the ones where you go, well, especially goaltenders this is a guy that was, again, the Oilers have picks there. And he's the one guy I went, well, man, I wonder if he was even on the radar for these.
Well, and this discussion comes up a lot with Oilers fans about if you're in a window of contention, you do trade away a lot of your top picks, right? Your first, second, even third rounders. But that just even further prioritizes and displays the importance of being efficient with your mid to late rounders, because that is all you have. So, and it's funny because I was talking with some guys at a skate I was at over the weekend, and about how they're like, I don't really seem to have the interest in the World Juniors anymore and stuff like that. And the Edmonton outlook on that is because, the Oilers don't have 3 prospects playing on every team anymore.
Yeah. The early days are long gone.
Exactly. Right. Like as the Oilers are in this competitive Stanley Cup window, like they don't have the high end prospects or as many draft picks to even cast a wide net to try and get selected to any of these teams. And as a result, like your Oiler fans are more focused on the Oilers because they're expected to win at this level. Whereas during the decade of darkness, it was all about what's coming next, what's in the future. And you lived and died for the World Juniors every December and January because that was hoping, or what you were hoping would be the next savior of your team.
Text line 833-401-1440. Our Czech buddy IMAX says the Czechs looked like they were done at the start. Beating Canada was clearly the target. They looked spent. Great ending, though. Pretty hard night at the house. P.S. I heard 65,000 on the wait list for next year's tickets. Yeah. The other one we wanted to mention from the Real Duke, Doug in Ontario Moms, we'll get those too, but Real Duke says, good morning, guys. Perhaps a thought for Bob Pulford, David Branch. Rest in peace. Yeah, we mentioned David Branch yesterday. It came during when we were on the air. Bob Pulford was later in the day. Longtime NHL player, exec, So, yep, all the best to the Pulford and Branch families. Coming up on the big program today, we were going to break away from hockey for the first little bit and check in with Mike DeRocco from ESPN, covers the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're up against the Buffalo Bills to kick off wild card weekend in the NFL. We got Mark Spector, Frank Saravalli, our double-barrel shotgun hockey insiders at 8 and 8:20. Hal Gill, Nashville Predators analyst, great guy. Knows this team inside out. He'll be with us at 9 bells. We've got Paul Sir from Hoop City at 10 o'clock. And then Landon Ferraro, you hear him on our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game shows with Andrew Walker. He'll check in at 10:20. When we come back, Mike DeRocco from ESPN covers the Jaguars. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
When it snows and you have a Honda, let it blow, let it blow, let it blow. Ditch the driveway shovel because right now at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo, save up to $400 on Honda dual-stage snowblowers. Take whatever winter throws at you and throw it back with iconic Honda reliability. Available for a limited time only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert and always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey Culligan, I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered with half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Reduce joint pain and inflammation with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Gel Caps, packed with a perfect ratio of omegas 3, 6, and 9 to support optimal health. Find this vegan, gluten-free formula at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 7:20 in Edmonton. We broke down a lot of the NFL matchups for Wild Card Weekend, but we're going to go one step further this morning to kick things off and check in with Mike DeRocco from ESPN, covers the Jacksonville Jaguars. Morning, Mike. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Oh, good morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great up here, Mike. Looking forward to all the games this weekend. And the Jacksonville-Buffalo one really intrigues me because of the way, as you know, Jacksonville finished the season. What is it about this team that is on such a roll right now?
Well, Trevor Lawrence, for sure, is the main reason. Liam Cohen has seemingly been able to do what no other coach has been able to do, which is get Trevor Lawrence to play like the number one overall pick and the generational talent that we all thought he was. And they're doing obviously some other good things. They're stopping the run. They lead the league in run defense, and they're opportunistic in terms of forcing and getting takeaways. Last week they had the pick six. So, they're doing the little things right too, but it's really been Trevor Lawrence who's been, over the last 8 weeks, his numbers are unbelievable. 16 touchdown passes, I think 19 total touchdowns, and he's been the best quarterback in the NFL over the last 8 weeks.
How much has Jacoby Myers, the addition of Myers at the trade deadline, Mike, helped out Lawrence and the offense?
It's funny because I was talking about this with one of my bosses the other day. We were trying to come up with some playoff stories, and I was like, that might have been the most impactful trade of the NFL trade deadline. He's been, I don't want to say like the savior, but it's pretty darn close because now they've got a guy that Trevor Lawrence trusts. The trust between those guys just develops relatively quickly. And that had been an issue here early in the season. Guys were dropping passes. Guys weren't in the right spot. Routes weren't being completely run to the correct depths, that they needed to be. So Myers comes in and he's a pro at all that stuff. And he's a former quarterback and he's a guy that is where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. More importantly, he's a tough kid and he will go over the middle. And that's something that obviously Brian Thomas Jr. was struggling with early in the season. So they get Myers. He fills in the middle of the field there for them, and then that allows them to use Brian Thomas on the outside the way he really was effective last year. So it just sort of opens everything up. And you can see now that Trevor Lawrence trusts Jacoby Myers, the trust has started to grow back again with Brian Thomas on the outside. There was always some trust with Parker Washington and Brenton Strange. He's throwing with more anticipation now, and Myers is a direct reason for that. He just really kind of opened everything up.
Mike DeRocco from ESPN, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. So when you look at Trevor Lawrence and the relationship that has grown with head coach Liam Cohen, was it like that at the start of the year? When did it start to gain some traction, do you think, Mike?
Well, I think the relationship between those guys has really been good the whole year. I don't think that there was any strained relationship. I know we all point to, I think it was the Bengals game where Liam's yelling at him, put the ball in his chest, and Trevor kind of waves him off. But those guys have they've been really good for each other because Liam's, an emotional, effusive, fiery guy, and Trevor Lawrence is that even keel guy. So, they've both sort of influenced the other a little bit. Liam has sort of been a little bit calmer at times, and Trevor's been a little bit more fiery at times. So I think this was more, the relationship was great. I think it was just more with Trevor getting the entire offense down. It's not an easy offense. I think Liam Cohen's talked about how it's more complex. There's 2 play calls in the huddle. There's a bunch of offensive line checks you've got to make. Then you got to kill the call. You've got to look and make audibles for, receivers. You got to make sure guys are lined up. So it was taking Trevor Lawrence a little bit of time to really kind of get to the point where he was operating it at a high level. And I think the second half of the season, that's where it's been.
Yeah. Mike DeRocco with us on Sports 1440. Out of the backfield, when you analyze Travis Etienne Jr., do you think he gets the props that he should? 1,100 yards rushing, another 300 in the air. Is he an underrated guy? How do you explain and express your views on this player?
Yeah, a little bit. This is he's not Christian McCaffrey. He's not probably not even James Cook, who led the league in rushing, but he's an effective runner who, is a little bit better outside than he is inside. And he does have really good hands. And his pass protection has gotten much better this year. Now, over the last several weeks, the running game here really hasn't clicked the way it did early in the season. I think defenses are presenting them some other things up front. There's been a few injuries. But he's been, if you said to me, who's been the most consistent, most dependable offensive player for this team all year, it would be Travis Etienne. Yeah. And, his contract's up this year. I don't think the Jags are going to try and re-sign him. I think he's going to be able to get himself $10-11 million a year on the open market. So I think he's going to want to test the market, but he's been really, really consistent for this team. And that's really all you want out of your players. I mean, consistency and effort and toughness, and that's what he brings.
At tight end, have they been using the big guy, Brenton Strange, a lot more recently? And what do you think his usage will be come the weekend against Buffalo?
Yeah, he was out for a while and with injury, and I thought they did miss him as a receiver, but they missed him more really as a blocker. He's a very, very good inline blocker and a very, very good blocker out in space. So that has really sort of helped. Him being back in there sort of helped a lot of that perimeter stuff that they like to run there. But, I thought he would be more of a pass catching threat. I think he had 4 or 5 catches last week. He's got a couple of touchdowns, but I thought he had a chance to be a 50 catch guy as a tight end because they talked about how good of a route runner he was. And again, that's another guy that, you can work him in the middle of the field. He could be a safety valve for Trevor Lawrence, but Liam Cohen's offense really doesn't throw to the tight end very much. So I think that's sort of why maybe his numbers aren't where I expected them to be. But, man, he had a stretch in the game there. I think he had 3 or 4 catches on one drive, had a nice touchdown catch. And I think we'll see him be a factor in the passing game in spurts going through the playoffs.
Mike Duraco from ESPN, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. When I was looking at some stats to get ready for this interview, Mike, I was sort of blown away about the pass rush and the stats that they put up. They rank third in the league with 222 quarterback pressures, but 27th in the league with sacks, which is 32. Can you maybe explain that stat? Yeah,
I mean, that's sort of been who they are, even, under a different coach. Josh Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, those guys, they do get a lot of pressures. They don't finish as much as you would maybe like them to. And I know that their coaches will say, hey, look, pressures are just as good as sacks. And I'm like, yeah, they are, but you don't get a pressure fumble, that can turn into a touchdown. Sack fumbles can. But the thing of it is those two guys are really good on the edge against the run. So that makes up for it a little bit, but they've played a lot of guys who like to get the ball out quickly. Phillip Rivers, for example, a couple weeks ago, they wanted to get the ball out quickly, and teams are game planning that as well. So, they know that this team can get in your face and get pressure, and they've gone to quick game a little bit and some screens here and there, but they are causing some bad throws, some errant throws. There was one last week, certainly, that resulted in the pick six where the pressure got to Brandon Allen and he just kind of flung it up. And Antonio Johnson took it the rest of the way. But, it's better than not getting pressure, but there is they would want, you got to finish more, especially in the playoffs and especially against a guy like Josh Allen. If you can get to him, get him down.
What's the health status of a lot of these D linemen here, Mike?
Eric Armstead should be okay. He had the broken bone in his hand, but he should be fine. He's been playing not as much as he had been before, but you would think that as it continues to heal, he'll get some more reps. Devon Hamilton's played ridiculously well against the run this year. He's okay. Danny Strigau's dealing with a knee injury. He's one of those undrafted free agent guys that sort of worked his way into the lineup and has been, effective at times. So, I think this team is about as healthy as you could hope for. Obviously not having Travis Hunter, not having Jordan Lewis at corner is hurts. But for the most part, this team's relatively healthy, and that's a really good thing when you're going into the playoffs.
Mike DeRocco from ESPN, our guest on Sports 1440. Well, you mentioned it, and he's the elephant in the room here, Josh Allen. So what does this defense, led by DC Anthony Campino, do to limit, contain Josh Allen? What are the keys, you think, for this weekend?
Got to keep him inside. Got to keep him in the pocket. And, you know, they're going to talk about that all week. When Josh Allen is dangerous, when he's Superman, is when he's out there on the edge and he's creating. So it's really important that they maintain their rush lane integrity and they keep him from getting outside. That, you know, we talked a little bit more about pressure. And I would even say it's more important for them, for those two guys, Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker specifically, and whoever's rushing off the edge.
Yeah.
You know, even if you can't get there, you got to keep him from getting outside, because that's when the magic happens, when the receivers break off their routes. You know, they work on that so much. They know what to do. They know where they're going to go. They know what Josh Allen likes. You know, if they keep him in the pocket, I don't think those receivers that the Bills have, Khalil Shakir is pretty good. You know, Brandon Cooks, you know, is a deep threat, but I don't think those receivers are really good enough to win the game from the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be, you know, and I would expect them to take Devin Lloyd, the middle or one of the linebackers, and make him the spy on Josh Allen on certain downs there to, you know, if he does get out, to maybe at least limit it. But man, I think the biggest fear that this defense would have is Josh Allen running free on the edge, and, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the Bills, they just haven't had a complete game, it seems, for several weeks here. So that's got to be a key for them. And you mentioned James Cook as well. I mean, this guy, the O-line does a fabulous job. He's averaging over 3 yards before contact. What about this O-line? And we touched on the D-line for Jacksonville, but maybe that matchup going up against this O-line for the Bills.
Yeah, Jags lead the league in run defense. Now, part of that a little bit is to do with the fact that, you know, they've had some big leads in some games, especially over this 8-game win streak. You know, they won those 8 games by an average of 19 points a game, which is ridiculous. So other teams have had to go away from the run. But when, you know, they stopped Jonathan Taylor up in Indianapolis, and he had absolutely killed that team in games, you know, in Indy against the Jaguars. But that's the key. You know, they always talk about stopping the run first. And, you know, guys like I mentioned Devon Hamilton, guys like Michael Dickerson, a veteran guy who's been around and is now playing some, you know, those guys on the edge, Danny Striga, BJ Green, another guy, you know, Hines Allen, and, you know, we've talked about before. You know, it's okay if James Cook gets himself 75, 80 yards. What's not okay is if some of those carries come on 25, 30-yard runs. I mean, they've done a really good job of limiting explosive runs this year. And, you know, Cook is probably one of the better guys at the league in terms of doing that. And you mentioned, you know, 3 yards before contact. That means he's, you know, essentially it's 2nd and 7 before anybody even touches him. So you can live with that if you're the Jags, but you just can't live with, like I said, the explosive run, 20, 25 yards, because then that you're bringing guys up to the line of scrimmage a little closer. And then the next thing you know, Josh Allen is sailing it over your head. So they've got to really be dominant against the run, especially early in the game. If they can be dominant, limit Cook, and then manage to get, you know, a 7-10 point lead, that can kind of change the dynamic of the game. Although a couple of weeks ago, the Bills were down 21-0 in New England, and they turned it over to Josh Allen. He rallied. They won the game.
Yeah.
So there's always that factor too, but got to stop the run first. That's always going to be their number one priority.
How much, Mike, did the Jaguars take into account that the Bills haven't won a road playoff game under Sean McDermott? He's 0-5. How much do they take stock into that, or do they?
I don't think they even care or listen about it, to be honest with you, because we've asked them about stuff like that before, that, you know, the Colts hadn't won in Jacksonville since 2014 and, you know, stuff like that. And the Jags hadn't, you know, a couple of years, the Jags hadn't won in Nashville since 2013. And the answer with those guys is always the same. It's like, look, none of those games impact this game, so we're not even going to worry about it, not even going to think about it. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter, what Buffalo has done in Kansas City. It's irrelevant to them. They have to beat Buffalo in Jacksonville. Now, last time the Bills were here in the playoffs was 17, Tyrod Taylor. The Jags won that game, I think 10-3. And they ended up running. Blake Bortles ran for more yards than he threw. But that game's irrelevant too. That was a long time ago. So they don't care about that at all. Now, we'll talk about it because it's certainly an interesting stat, and it shows you, the magic of playing and the importance of playing at home in the postseason, especially when you're playing a game, a game like the Bills. But the players and the coaches, that to them, it's irrelevant.
Blake Bortles, there's a blast from the past.
It was. Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite guys I ever covered. It was such a weird playoff. See, I think he threw for 81 yards, ran for 83. And then the next week threw for like 320 against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. This franchise is so weird. They're just so weird.
Well, it's 1:00 start Eastern, 11:00 our time on Sunday. The number 3 Jacksonville Jaguars up against the 6 seed Buffalo Bills. Thanks so much, Mike, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Enjoy that game and the rest of the Tilts on Wildcard weekend, and have a great 2026. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it. You guys do the same.
It's Mike DeRocco from ESPN. It's the Jags. It's the Bills. Sunday again, 11:00 our time, and that game is on CBS. Murder, she wrote. When we come back, we'll have a look at this Oilers-Nashville game a little bit more. Get to a lot of your texts that are rolling in. We'll hear from Spencer Stastny because he's going to be playing up against his former team tonight, and he was interviewed yesterday following practice. That's all straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show. On Sports 1440 AM radio, we're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
Help your body manage stress with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Plus. This liquid formula is fortified with nutritional yeast, providing B vitamins for stress reduction and probiotics for intestinal health. Find it at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Get ready.
We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Shoresy's back, and it's only on Crave.
We need total buy-in from every guy in this room.
The Smash Hit Series returns for a brand new season.
We're going to be playing the EU All-Stars.
Shoresy is facing his toughest competition yet.
This EU team is spectacular.
Yeah, I'm not scared of them.
Hear that, Shoresy?
Let's make sure they never forget who we are.
Shoresy, new season. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
It's the place Honda. It's the place for service too. I love my Honda place. Would you buy?
The Kevin Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 742 in Edmonton. There's my favorite BA song, Duke. My favorite BA song.
You and Tiger both.
Yeah?
It's Tiger's favorite.
Is that right? There's just something about it. Something about it.
Well, yeah, there's something about it. It's called a Spice Girl.
Oh, is that what she's in it?
Mel C.
Oh, I don't know. I can't. I'm just listening to his
Oh,
voice.
as if you don't know all the Spice
I never
Girls
did know. I only know, who is it? Mel who?
Mel C.
C.
Which was Sporty Spice, if my memory
Okay.
serves me correct.
Now, let's see. Red hair?
No, isn't that Ginger?
I don't know. The one Spice Girl that's on, is it America's Got Talent?
I know she was.
That's Mel
I
B?
can't. That's Mel B. That's Scary
Mel B.
Spice.
Okay.
She's great. Then there's Posh, of course, with Beckham, Victoria Beckham.
How many were there? 4?
5, I thought.
Wow.
Let's see. Posh, Sporty, Ginger, Scary, and probably one more that I can't remember. Maybe there was just 4. I don't know.
What are they like?
They were never exactly my main bag, but
They were pretty popular though. Eh?
like
man.
like world domination
Yeah.
famous.
King of Fort Nasty texts in. Good morning, Happy New Year, KK Duke Fenny. You know, aside from a pile of sports, the Duke's DVR, or is it PVR, is full of murder. She wrote.
It isn't. That's more Low Tide's thing. And yeah, it can be DVR or PVR. I've heard it. I think both, maybe depending on the manufacturer. But I don't have one. Never have. We didn't get one at my the version of satellite where you can record stuff at the farm. That didn't come in until after my time living at home.
The reason we brought it up because I said the Jacksonville Buffalo game is on CBS, and every Sunday on the late game, Pat Summerall and John Madden would say coming up on CBS tonight, except for the West Coast. 60 minutes, and then another edition of Murder.
Murder, he wrote.
Nobody would wait and wait because
Murder, silence.
And John Madden would laugh and laugh and laugh. Tyler in Millwood says Baby Spice, Duke.
There you go. There's the fifth one.
Baby Spice. Wanted to get to Doug's comment here. This was earlier, just before we get to Spencer Stastny, who will play against his former team tonight. I was over at K97, and they were talking about Zane Prek over there. Morning, Kevin. Heard you chatting with the boys at K97 about young Zane Prek, saying he wants to show his personality, not be a robot like NHL players are. It's wildly known, Kevin, that NHL players are usually the most accessible, well-mannered players to approach by the media. as opposed to the rest of professional players. It's very true. Whether this is mandated by the NHLPA or not, I'm just glad that hockey players, for the most part, don't come off as self-entitled Neanderthals. For young Perek, go ahead, show all the personality you want, knock yourself out, but please don't go throwing all the other players under the bus by calling them down. That's from old school hockey, Doug. All fair comments here, Doug, for sure. So what Perek said, and this was probably about 10 days ago, Duke, ballpark. Yeah, whatever it is. Just saying that when he got to Calgary, they were telling him to have his canned, low response answers, robotic, and that's what they told him to be like when he was handling interviews in Calgary. When he got to the World Juniors, he wanted to show his personality, but the way he worded it wasn't the greatest, and he's going to hear about it when he gets back to Calgary here. He's going to get some jabs from, and I think they'll probably be a little bit in fun as well, because he had a pretty good World Junior with 13 points. Again, still has to work on his defense. Duke just brought up the fact that they were talking about it on the Friday about Perek and his future with the Flames this year with Rasmus Andersson, likely to be dealt. That opens a spot up. If Rasmus Andersson were not going to be dealt, I would almost think that Perek could go back to junior, to be honest with you. He's got lots to learn on the defensive end of things, for sure. Oilers and Nashville tonight. Oilers come in with a record of 20-16-6. Nashville 19-18-4. It wasn't too long ago when the Oilers acquired Spencer Stastny from the Predators. And he had a bit of a rough game against Philadelphia. It was -3, played 18 minutes. It's funny, last week, David Schlemko on New Year's Eve, we were talking, and Schlemmer was saying, hey, I want to talk about Spencer Stastny here. I want to talk about him. We never got around to it at the end of the show. I'm sure we'll discuss it tomorrow with Schlemmer, but I'm sure also that Spencer Stastny wants to get back to where he was in the -3 like he was against Philadelphia. For the most part, he's been very reliable. He's quick on his feet. He closes gaps. He has the ability, because of his speed and backwards skating, to have more gap control than other defensemen because he can get back quicker. And that's one thing that is very noticeable with him. Yesterday, following the Oilers' practice to get ready for tonight's game against Nashville, Spencer Stastny addressed the media, and here are some of those comments.
It seems like it fit in pretty well, but a little bit more excitement for tomorrow. Yeah, this will be a special one. Definitely meeting a lot of guys, coaches, staff. I'm sure I'll run into them. So, yeah, it's, not even that long ago. Probably a few weeks I've been here, it seems like. So it's going to be a special one, but hopefully we can get the win here.
Usually when you play former teammates, it's almost more, it's like your family. You want to beat your brothers for sure. Which one of your former teammates do you expect to chirp you the most or try to run you?
Yeah. I was real close to guys in the back end, but I'm sure Evangelista will have something to say to me. But no, I'm still tight with all those guys. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun game every shift, just going out there with guys I know and guys I love. So, yeah, it's I know I've never experienced it before, but I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know how much you've been following them. They've started to hit their stride here. They come in as a team playing well, where you guys are going to try to get back with it.
Yeah, I know they're playing well now. I've been keeping track of their progress since I've left. But, yeah, they're playing good hockey and they're scoring goals. So I think we're just going to try to use this game as a way to get back on the winning end as well. And, yeah, hopefully end with the win tomorrow night.
What do you feel? You guys had December when you came in. The team was playing really well, was on a roll. Now, goals against started to leak a bit more. What has to be the main things to get back to playing better defensive as a group?
Yeah, I think just playing quick, being quick with the puck, knowing what you're going to do with it before you have it, and just being solid with our plays. I think we've been a little sloppy, so just getting out there, being a little sharper, and playing well.
To say goodbye to anybody who went down to the rink to get
Yeah, no, I stopped in before the practice, so I said bye to all the guys and all the staff, everyone at the rink. So, yeah, I was able to say goodbye, but, probably see a couple of them today here around the rink and say hi, but then tomorrow it's all business. Yeah, it's first time getting traded, so I thought maybe a little stressful, a little ease into it, a little scared there, but no, I was comfortable from the beginning. Everyone here was great with me. And it's a great group of guys that made me feel welcome. So no, I think it was just kind of shocked me how smooth the transition was and how much fun I'm having.
What was the mental component of that? Like, the brand new faces, a brand new place, being able to just go out and play.
Yeah. Fortunately, a lot of the systems are the same. And guys here are so good. They make it easy for me out there too. So as long as I just play my game, play quick, then they usually have my back out there too. So no, it's been really good so far. I mean, he's a Chicago guy. Like, he's in Chicago, Notre Dame guy as well. So I think a lot of background there that's similar to mine. And I think Noah Slaggert here. I think he's close to Slaggert as well, and those Notre Dame connections. So I think it's a lot of Chicago, Notre Dame, and then Would you ever see him? I'm sure I did. I'm sure I have. But no, we've just connected since I've been traded here, just talking every now and then when I run into him. But I'm sure growing up, I saw him around.
What's the most impressive thing about seeing Stamkos when you were there with him? What is it?
Yeah. I mean, they got a lot of guys with that like legendary aura. Just that you look at them and you're like, oh, this guy's something special. But Stammer, he's just like a great guy, nice guy. But I mean, when his shot's on, when he's going, it's something special to watch, especially just that 1T on the power play or just coming down, you can score from anywhere. So yeah, it's a guy you got to watch out for. And, he's hot right now. So, yeah, I mean, as an old teammate, love that for him, but hopefully we can shut him down tomorrow.
Those guys seem ageless, though, don't they? Like, those guys are talented. It doesn't matter how old they get; they still seem to be able to have that skill.
Oh yeah, I mean, he wants to score no matter what. Like, no matter what he's doing on the ice. So yeah, he's always anxious to score, and it's clicking for him now.
It's Spencer Stastny, acquired from Nashville late in the December not late into December, but in December, and probably mid-December, I guess it was, and has fit in quite nicely here. He's again, he moves the puck well. He gets back to pucks better than I think a lot of people thought he would. But for me, again, the most noticeable thing is in the neutral zone, and it's that gap control where he has the ability to close things off, only because his pivots are as good as anyone. I mean, he can get back quickly with either a crossover or what they used to call back in the day an old Mohawk turn, which is really a quick way to transition from skating backwards to skating forwards. And when you have the ability to master that with your footwork and your edge work, it's only going to be, it's only going to help you moving forward, because you're always going to have that extra step on a guy and have that ability to have a little more push in the neutral zone and get back to the plate. Text 833-401-1440. Ontario Momes chimes in. KK, that's me. I've been a fan of KK, Chris Knobloch. Then he has both of you, I guess. I think he's lost the plot of it. The Pacific's so bad, the Oilers are going to make the playoffs, but why wouldn't he be playing in the bottom six more just to get them going? Now seems like the time, 2 months before the trade deadline. Can't play them 7 to 9 minutes. So for me, Ontario, it's the fourth line. When you look at at lines 1 and 2, okay, they're going to eat up. They're going to eat up 41, 42 minutes easy, are they not? That's just the way it goes. And, you're tacking in some power play time here as well. But the third line, so that leaves 20 minutes ballpark. So your fourth line is always going to, and that's not just here in Edmonton. It's the fourth line is going to play your 7 minutes. But you got to figure out what the identity of that fourth line is. They don't have it. Now, the key here, and you're saying it in kind of half of what you're coming across, the third line is where lies the rub. It's been terrible. And the third line can't be continuing to not contribute moving forward. Like, if we see tonight, and if it's what we saw yesterday at practice with Adam Henrique, Roslovic, and Howard, well, that should be able to, with Roslovic and Howard should be able to generate some offense. Henrique is still your fourth liner guy. That's where the piece of the puzzle is missing for this team right now. Someone in that third grouping at 3C. And if that is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that goes down there, I think a lot of people would be quite happy with Nugent-Hopkins, Roslovic, and maybe a Savoy, because someone's going to have to go up to play with Connor McDavid if you take Nugent-Hopkins out of there. There's options. But the utilization of that third line and the makeup of that third line isn't intact right now. They have probably less of an identity as a third line than the fourth line, whoever's on it, does. Coming up at the top of the hour, we've got Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV at 8:20. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Riverside Honda. 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. Hey, it's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Handful of games across the NHL last night. Utah beat the Rangers 3-2 in overtime. Igor Shesterkin leaving that one early due to injury. Detroit beat Ottawa 5-3. Justin Sardiv had 5 points, and his first career hat trick lifts the Caps to a 7-4 win over Anaheim. LA doubled up Minnesota 4-2, and the Kraken run their point streak to 8 games after beating the Flames 5-1. Off the ice, the Flyers have extended Christian Dvorak to a 5-year deal with an AAV of $5.15 million. Dvorak, 25 points in 39 games so far this season, his first in Philly. And Carolina acquiring defenseman Juuso Valimaki from Utah for future considerations. The World Juniors wrapped in Minnesota yesterday. Canada capturing the bronze medal, its first since 2012, defeating Finland 6-3. And Sweden takes home the gold for the first time in 15 years, beating Czechia 4-2. Canadian defenseman Zane Parekh and forward Michael Hage were named to the tournament's media all-star team. France, Latvia, and Czechia have announced their full Olympic hockey rosters this morning. Former Oiler David Tomaszek was among the forwards named for the Czechs. And finally, the Toronto Raptors beat the Hawks for a second straight game. This one 118-100. 7 different Raptors hitting double-digit points in the victory. Elsewhere, 7 of the games, including the Pistons, continue to cruise 121-90 over the Knicks. The Thunder lose to Charlotte 124-97. And Denver got past Philly 125-124 in overtime. Coming up in hour 2 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector and Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
When the ground freezes, you wonder how anything can get done. And instead of staying outside in temperatures that would make a polar bear cry, you head inside where it's toasty and warm. But that's not what GS Construction does. Because while the ground freezes above, we plan below, rebuilding and revitalizing the systems that keep our communities working year after year. Now, don't worry. GS Construction promises to do everything safely and efficiently, and we'll wear our extra warm clothing outside. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 8 o'clock in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here in the Sports 1440 AM studios at West Edmonton Mall. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Mike and the crew would like to thank you for all the support that you gave Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC in 2025. And even though it is 2026, let's not forget about the huge savings that they have still on the 2025s in stock. Save now at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec.
What the heck is Twitch?
Well, if you don't know it, how the hell would I know it if you don't know it, Spec?
Twitch is something I used to do after a night of drinking with Kevin Karius.
Well, when we were in Jasper and you stuck your tongue to the ski lift.
That was what the hell, Twitch? What are we doing on Twitch, Karius? We don't even know what it is.
It would be a combination of another streaming service like X and Facebook and Instagram, I guess. I don't know. You guys won't say something, you guys. You guys are the technical wizards.
Well, you put it in the same category as like X or Instagram. Like those are social media websites that have streaming opportunities, sure. But like Twitch would be more comparable to YouTube, I think, in that sense, where it's all just video and comments and all that jazz. It's just another way to get you out there, Kev. More people want more of you.
That's exactly what they want. Yeah, right.
Man, more social media. That makes me twitch.
That's the way it is, isn't it? Hey, Spec, your Latvians just announced the Olympic roster. You got to be happy with this squad.
It's a fine-looking squad full of sturdy, solid, character-laden men, I noticed.
Okay, how many guys do you really know?
I don't know, about 5 or 6.
Yeah. You know the goalies, 2 of them. Shilas Merzilkins.
Yeah.
I don't recognize any defensemen.
Belinskas plays for Florida.
Okay, Belinskas, that's it. And then maybe 3-4 forwards?
Yeah, a few guys.
Yeah.
Come on, how many guys? Bowles came over. He's playing for Philly.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, you're the one that keeps track of the Latvians in the NHL.
In the NHL, that's why I recognize like 5 or 6 names on there. But I don't keep track of the Latvians playing in wherever else they're playing, Sweden and stuff. They don't play in Russia anymore. So, they're just spread out around Europe, I assume. Or maybe there's a couple guys in the AHL or, hey, man, we're a little country. Huh? Like, it's not like we got 22 or 23 NHLers.
What do you mean we are a little country?
Well,
like, that's like saying, when you're sitting in the room and the guys start talking about the Oilers and they go, yeah, we got to do this, we got to do that.
They're my people. They're my people, man. Come on.
All right, whatever. Hey, did you watch the World Juniors last night?
I didn't actually. I was out and about. I watched the Canadians play Finland in the afternoon. Looked like a really good game for Sweden. I can't believe, has Sweden never won this thing before?
No, this was their second win since 1981. So second gold medal since 81.
45 years.
Yeah,
so,
they've been to a lot of finals. They, the stats are, I don't have them here, but in the round robin for like a decade plus, they were undefeated, it seemed. And then they would always lose.
And then they blew it all the time.
Yeah.
It is amazing that a country of that esteem is able to, it can go that long without winning. Oh my goodness. So good for the Swedes. They were a good team. We all like Swedish hockey players. They deserve a little success once in a while. So good for them, man.
In a one-game showdown, a lot of these ones too, I remember more so back in the day. It's not as much, it seems, lately. But some of these games, you'd be out shooting the competition, I don't know, 45 to 50 to 15, and the goalie stands on his head, and that's what happens. So,
yeah. Well, that's the World Junior. That's the World Junior, right? There are no series at the World Junior. So,
yeah. But the Czechs, last night, Spec, they didn't quit. They were monopolized by Sweden for 55, 56 minutes. And then the last 3-4, they pulled the goalie and they scored 2 goals. And they thought this could be a miracle comeback, but it was just not meant to be for them.
Yeah, well, there again, like, I know we all cheer for Canada, and I mean, and then we overreact when Canada doesn't win.
Mhm.
Then I saw Gregor's post. There's like 6 players in the NHL that would have been on that team if that were eligible to play. So I guess I'd say to you, if you took away 6 of the best from, Sweden, would they have won? No. Czechs? No. So I mean, whatever, right? So we got some.
It's funny too, Spec. Like when guys were sent down from NHL teams, and I'll just say the 2 guys in particular, and I'm not crapping on them here, but Brunick and Misa were 2 of the guys that were sent down. The expectations for those players are so much higher than these other players. But if you were ranking all the players, Brunick and Misa probably weren't even the top 10 players for Canada.
No.
So it's different.
Yeah, it's always that way for sure. I thought Perek was pretty good. From Calgary, he set a record for points in the World Junior, so that's good. But hey, listen, it's I don't know what to tell you. I think we got spoiled, back in the 90s and 2000s when we were winning every single year, right? And we figured, we should just always win this thing. And it's a way better tournament now that it's up for grabs than it is when the same team's going to win every year. So, it keeps us on our toes. If we can't win that thing for a few years in a row, then we start to look at how we're building and how we're grooming Canadian players, and that's fine. But there's no need to panic because you lose a semifinal game with by 2 with an empty netter. I mean, the other team's trying too, man.
Oilers in Nashville tonight. Oilers got to get it back on the rails here, Spec, after 2 losses at home, Boston and Philadelphia. The good news for the Oilers is that whenever they play Nashville, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid seem to score just for fun. Their stats are through the roof against the Predators, and maybe that can continue tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that always helps you win. What's important for the Oilers here is to get the goals against under control, for my money. Like, you can't, they're 29th in the league in goals against per game. So they're going nowhere until they figure that out. So, yeah, it'd be nice if Leon Draisaitl's been on a prolonged, I'm not even going to say a slump, but by his standards, the goals aren't going in, and they're not. He's got 1 even strength goal since December 1st. He needs to get going. He's a $14 million player.
Yeah.
And there's some guys in the bottom 6. We've gone over it at length here that are just moribund, and they're not helping you at all. That just can't continue. So, this team's, I'm not going to the rink tonight going, oh boy, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have to save the day. They can save a few days here, and that's fine. But if the other things don't happen, it won't matter. I don't care if you have 2 Connor McDavids or 3. If you're letting in 4 a night, you're eventually going to lose. So they got to solve the defensive problems, and they got to get a little depth. Their depth guys got to wake up. They got too many sleepy guys down there. So that's what I'm looking for to happen before I start to tell you the Oilers are back on track.
When can this team get a third line that contributes?
I don't know, right? They got a bunch of players. When the season started, we thought, okay, you got about 6 or 7 guys in your bottom 6 that between that group, there's got to be something there. And there just hasn't been, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, that's the thing. The combination isn't there, and it's almost like, and again, they're missing 1 player. And if Nugent Hopkins goes down to 3C, I'm totally okay with that, because who he's going to be battling. And if Roslovic is on that line, now that is a good third line to start. They just got to figure out who's going to take Nugent Hopkins' place with Connor and Zach Hyman.
There's that, I think the head coach is thinking, I got 1 line going right now. That's Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, and Hyman. I can't take a guy off that line, or I might have no lines going. But I think that's probably short-sightedness here. I think maybe right now this team has to go down to pairs, McDavid and Hyman, Draisaitl and Roslovic, and, let's say Nugent Hopkins and fill in the blank, right?
Yeah. See, even though I like Roslovic with Leon, maybe it's that pair is Draisaitl and Podkolzin.
Well, Podkolzin is a third or fourth line player.
He is, but
so now you're neutering. You got to give Draisaitl someone to play with here.
Listen, I'm with you.
Right?
I'm with you.
You can't strip Draisaitl of. You can't just say you get Podkolzin and somebody.
It's going to be cap.
Now what you're doing now, my friend, is you're making Draisaitl your third line center. That's what you're doing. Right?
I don't know if that's fair because Leon he can almost do it single-handedly.
Well, you've been asking him to for years. Like McDavid always gets the wingers. You know, your two best wingers on this team right now are both playing on McDavid's line.
Mm-hmm.
And Draisaitl gets neither of them. You know, I like Draisaitl and Roslovic. Like that to me is a good pair. Then maybe take Podkolzin and move him down. But you know, it's at some. I mean, Howard's got to play somewhere. I mean, maybe you move Howard up into left wing next to McDavid. Listen, I'm not sure what you do here, but you know, you need some guys to start playing. You need some guys to start delivering. Like Kapanen's been hurt. You know, you're hoping for a little something from him. You build your team in the summer, right? You build your team in the summer, and then you augment it in March. And over the course of the season, maybe add a guy here, add a guy there. But your team gets built in the summertime. And they got building blocks that aren't delivering. Mangiapane and Frederick were supposed to be top 9 wingers who were good players. And neither are playing. They're both fourth liners. They're both sitting in the press box. So that's the holes we're talking about. You and me are sitting there looking for wingers. There's your wingers, right? There's your wingers.
Do you think, Spec, because I don't think we've seen both Mangiapane and Frederick be healthy scratches on the same night.
I haven't yet. Today, if you go off of yesterday's practice, tonight will be the first night. Maybe the coach changed his mind this morning, but that's the problem. The two holes we're looking for here. Those guys own it. Those are your two holes, and now it's up to Bowman to figure it out. And he dug the hole. Now he's got to fill the hole, right? And it's important because those are big guys.
I mean, if the lines go like they were at practice yesterday, then those are the two healthy scratches. Quinn Hudson was sent back to Bakersfield, and you have Howard, Henrique, and Roslovic on your third line. Mark Lazar, and Savoy on your fourth line. That's how it stacked up yesterday. So,
okay, so there's not, like, on paper, I look at those lines. Those lines are okay. I'm not saying I love every single player in every spot and they're going to win a cup tomorrow, but those lines should be able to win some games for you. They're not terrible lines.
I just don't have Adam Henrique at 3C anymore, Spec.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
That's another one. You built your team like he's going to be your 3C, and now he's not a 3C. Maybe he's never going to be a 3C again. Or maybe he's just having a bad half a year. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to it. But
hey, I wanted to get your thoughts on, I don't know where you are with goal differential in the NHL, if that's a stat that you look at. And
I do look at that stat, yeah.
So Detroit leads the entire Eastern Conference. They're -5 in goal differential. If you go in the Western Conference, Spec, take Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota out of the mix. The remaining teams, every one of them that are left, there's only one team that has a positive goal differential. Like, this is insane for this to be happening.
Right. Utah Mammoth, of all teams, are +6.
Yeah. That's it.
So,
there's guys hanging around at -2 and 3 and 4, but
shouldn't there be, like, I should know this. Shouldn't there be half the league is plus and half the league is minus?
It's, again, when you think about it, there's more teams out east that have a positive goal differential. If you think about it, just shows you that every time teams are playing Colorado, Dallas, or Minnesota, they're getting pumped by those teams. Think about the Oilers. They lost 9-1 and 8-3 or something to Colorado and Dallas.
Like, there's only 6 teams out east with a positive goal differential, and there's 2 at 0.
Yeah.
So, Tampa's +32. So, hey, I don't know. It's kind of a weird year for that. I'll give you that. It's a weird year for that. To me, it does. Like, I still look at it. And you look at the, you look at the scoring race. Like, if I'm voting for my Hart Trophy guy, and McKinnon and McDavid have the same amount of points, but one guy's plus 40 and one guy's minus 3. Well, that makes that's important to me. That's a major check mark in an important box, right? So I mean, it's really, that's team plus minus is what we're talking about with goal differential. And this is just a sign, if we knock this back to the Oilers, it's just a sign that they you got to get control of your defensive game. They're kicking around first place. They've allowed 4 more goals than they scored. That's just not healthy. And it shows me they got a massive hole in their game. Now, looking around the conference, everybody's got a massive hole in their game outside those 3 teams in the Central, and only one of them gets to come out. So, you got few months to figure this out, but you better figure it out because it's a problem.
Well, Nashville's 4 points back of the Oilers right now.
Right.
So that's, they're right on the Oilers' heels. They're 7-3 in their last 10. So, all right, Spec. Thanks, big fella. We'll see you down at the rink later tonight.
All right, sounds good, Kevin.
It's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. On the Mark is brought to you by and powered by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Check them out at northgategm.com. Powered by Northgate. This truck's for you. When we come back, Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor@sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Reduce joint pain and inflammation with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Gel Caps, packed with a perfect ratio of omegas 3, 6, and 9 to support optimal health. Find this vegan, gluten-free formula at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Weekly NFL giveaways, drink specials, huge screen TVs. The hits keep coming at First Round, Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Watch NFL football at First Round, and you could win a trip to your favorite NFL city for a regular season game next season. Catch NFL action Thursday nights, all day Sunday, starting with the Pro Bowl brunch from 10:30 to 2. Then Monday night with half-price boneless wings after 6 p.m. First Round, burgers, beer, sports. Downtown and Bourbon Street, West Edmonton Mall.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Escape the cold and catch the hottest sports action at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Not a bad seat in the house. All the games and tons of big screens. Plus, Selly's menu has something for everyone, along with game night food and drink features. And this January, Oilers watch parties continue. So bring your friends and cheer loud and proud. Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:20 in Edmonton. Text line 833-401-1440. Hacksaw comes in. We're talking about goal differential in the NHL and how wacky it is. And here's a pretty good point by the old Hacksaw. Hey, Kavinsky, I think some of the reason may be the insane amount of empty net goals that are scored now. Teams are pulling their goalies when they are down 2 and 3 goals. That's a fair point with the amount of empty net goals that are put on the board on a nightly basis when you think about it. And that has a lot to do with, again, the goal differential. When you look at it, it's not so. Like Detroit's -5, leading the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay is really the only team in the East with a pretty good goal differential at +32. But, other than that, when you look at the 3 teams in the Central Division, and Colorado's head and shoulders above everyone else's, everyone knows, with +72. Dallas is at +29, and Minnesota is at +21. So there's a big difference. Time now for the headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, getting snakes deep and giving 110% day in and day out. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Kevin?
Doing great. I know you were having some posts there last night about the World Junior final gold medal game. I'll tell you, as impressed as I was with Sweden, Frank, I was equally impressed with just the no quit, no die in the Czechs. I mean, they played their hearts out last night.
I couldn't agree more. Right, literally until the final whistle, you're thinking, how does Sweden not have more gold medals? Maybe that's one of those moments where you almost choke one away. And look, Czechia deserves full marks. They've totally reinvented their hockey program over the last 10 years. They were going the wrong direction. And what they found is a willingness to send players elsewhere. And to the pain of Canadians, that includes to Canada. I mean, 12 of the 20 players in Czechia's roster play in the WHL alone. So it requires that confidence to send your players abroad. Czechia bought in and is willing, and their players compete and work.
As you know, we have Laddie Schmid on Thursdays. He's on earlier or a little later now. When you were last year, you got to talk to Laddie about the state of hockey in Czech, and that's the same thing. Like, I mean, he knows all these players. He was an assistant coach last year, so.
Yep.
The difference is way, and again, and I don't know if do you think it was 10 years ago when it started to turn the corner, Frank, or what?
It might be a shade more recently than that, maybe like 7, which takes a while, as you know, to kind of reboot the whole thing. But Slovakia is they were going the wrong direction too. They're sort of slowly turning the corner, and I think it's huge for the overall health of the game. I mean, we talked about 4 nations last year, and you have the traditional hockey powers, but if you can add in more teams, Czechia, Slovakia, Switzerland, etc., that actually give you a run for your money, it changes the overall scope and scheme of international tournaments.
Yeah, and Slovakia is going to have a hell of a team at the World Juniors next year too, because they had a lot of returning guys.
Yep.
So. Frank Saravalli with us. I know you had Craig Button on Victory Plus. You were talking about Gavin McKenna, where he's at, and Craig was on last night on the broadcast too. Where are you at with McKenna? I mean, with what he's done this year at Penn State and then at the juniors, is he still number 1 for you?
I think he'll end up going number 1, but I think what's happened here is the door has opened pretty significantly, and he's loosened his grip on that number 1 pick as a sure thing. Now, like I said, consensus-wise, he may still end up there, but there's a few things working against him. One, he's a winger, and there's a premium placed on centers and defensemen, particularly right shot defensemen, and rightfully so. Two, what really hurt, and if you just looked at the points and you said, hey, 14 points in 7 games in the World Juniors, pretty good for an 18-year-old. His lack of production in not just meaningful moments, but at 5-on-5 really damaged his case. He was a non-factor for big chunks of that tournament when it mattered most. And some would say, well, hey, hold on a second. He's just a teenager playing in an under 20 tournament. That's to be expected. Maybe, but he also played last year. So this was his second run at it. So a little bit of a different world. And look, I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be an impactful NHL player. I think we need to stop talking about the idea that Gavin McKenna is a generational player.
Yeah, I'm probably on that same boat with you here, Frank, especially after watching him. And it's not like he was really, really poor. I mean, he had 14 points. I mean,
no, there's no fault in that. Just FYI, to say he's not a generational player, that's not a knock against him.
So like Ivar Stenberg really came out and had a pretty good tournament. Is it just he's not a big guy? That's got people probably a little bit worried, but he gets around from point A to point B for sure.
He does. And look, I thought he got a lot better as the tournament went on.
Yeah.
He, in the first couple games, was trying to be everything. And I think when you look at his impact and playing in that gold medal game, he definitely improved and was more impactful.
Yeah. Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV. We were going around, I just had Spec on, as you know, right before you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're talking about goal differential in the NHL. And when you take away the the Central Division, Frank, in the West, only one other team is positive in the entire Western Conference. Is this just a totally anomaly? What are we looking at here?
I think you're looking at a lot of things. I think you're looking at a disparity in competition. I think you're looking at some potentially lopsided games that impact the differentials. I think you're looking at save percentages being way down. I think there's a bunch of reasons for it. And typically not just fans, but teams use goal differential as a way to measure success. And I mean, frankly, what Colorado's doing at plus 72 is so insane. But I mean, there's not in the East, it's way more normal. Most of 7 of the 8 teams in playoff position today in the East are in the positive or neutral.
And then you got Detroit at -5 leading the entire Eastern Conference.
Yes, but did you say at what? At -5?
They're -5, yeah.
Oh,
Detroit.
you're saying that, well, I mean, they're not leading the Eastern Conference for me. They're not even first in their division on points percentage or second.
Fair. They got the most points.
But then if you want to talk about how jumbled the East is, how about the Ottawa Senators? They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. They have a 549 points percentage. And if you look at the standings by points, you say, oh man, that team's second from the bottom. If you redo it by points percentage, they are right there. And their goal differentials +2. Are the Sens a bad team, or are we just looking at them optically through the prism of the standings only?
Yeah, they're just ahead of Boston on points percentage, correct?
Right. So I tend to try and not look at teams in that window in the East.
I want to ask you about your Philadelphia Flyer team there, because you get obviously you're close to them and things like that. Where are they at with Daniel Briere, Keith Jones moving forward here? Are they a team, do you think, that is going to make a little bit of a push here? Are they adding? What are they doing here at halfway point?
Well, I think they've arrived at this position now, particularly after Saturday's game in Edmonton that closed out 9 games on the road, that I think you can put a stake in the ground and say that this team is a real playoff contender. And I've avoided getting to that point so far because, well, I haven't really been sure what to make of them. I think they're a fine team. I don't think that they're a cup contender, but the way that they've played pretty consistently to this point in time, I mean, they're among the league leaders. I mean, take Colorado outside of the mix. But if you look at regulation losses, they only have 12. In the East, only Pittsburgh has the same number. That's the low in the East. So they're able to get points. They're really good in the shootout and OT. I think they're imperfectly built. But to answer your question about what their trade deadline posture is, I think they're going to be a team that's in a position to make a small ad. They're not going to be deleting and subtracting. They'd really like to push and try and make the playoffs. I think it's important for this market. It's been a while since they've had it. And they would like to display some positive momentum moving forward.
Dan Vladar, one of the main reasons that they're having success, is he getting the credit he deserves this year?
Probably not league wide. Named to the Czechia Olympic roster today, no shock. He's been excellent, and he's one of those guys that I think with his size and his experience at the NHL level, he was probably due for a starter's role at some point. I mean, he's, believe it or not, still relatively young when it comes to being an NHL starter and earning that position. He's been in the league a long time, but he's got a lot of tread left on those tires. And the Flyers made a really smart play bringing him in. Their goaltending needed to be stabilized, and it just wasn't going to happen for him in Calgary with Dustin Wolf ahead of him.
How much is Rick Tocchet meant to turn this around to?
I think a fair bit. I think what's really interesting is the Flyers have played really well at a time in which, I mean, if you look at Matvei Michkov and his productivity, I think he has 1 goal in his last 12 games. So it's been a long time. And so he's put this standard in place that I think has made people a little bit uncomfortable at times, particularly with the handling of someone like Michkov, who is clearly a really talented player, but arrived out of shape. And they've had to sort of crack him back in line. And Tocchet has taken a ton of heat for it. But I would argue that in the end, over the long haul, this is going to be better for his development and path as a guy who's trying to figure it out at the age of 21.
Frank Saravalli with us on Sports 1440. I want to go all the way across to the West Coast. The LA Kings beat Minnesota last night, Frank, 4-2. So this was the back-to-back. Do you like these back-to-backs where one team stays and plays, the same team twice in a row? Do you like them?
I don't, because I think it's hard for like season ticket holders and fans. The Flyers have that this week, actually. They have Tampa at home on Saturday and then Tampa at home again on Monday, which is odd.
So Tampa spends the Sunday in Philly.
Sunday, which also happens to be NFL Wildcard Sunday. So good for the Bolts, who are going to get a little treat in South Philly. But other than that, I mean, if you're a season ticket holder or a fan that goes often, I mean, you hate seeing the same team twice if it's not a playoff series.
I'm on the same page with you. And there's been a few of them this year already. And as you said, the one in Philly, to me, I can't get past it. I want to see, you're out there and it's not like, and again, like if a team goes to Philly, I mean, they can go to wherever, Jersey, go to New York. Same with the Kings. You go to Anaheim the next game.
Go to San Jose, go wherever. Yeah, I'm with you. I do understand from a wear and tear perspective. I understand from a travel cost perspective. I mean, baseball, it's beautiful the way they have their series, but they play every day. And that would be a different story if that were the case. But I mean, I just look at the travel, and you could make the case. Jonathan Taves made an impassioned plea a few years ago to get teams, hey, if you've got to play the Kings 3 times this season, go down there in one shot and do it all, as opposed to flying back and forth.
Do you think the entire Tampa team goes to that game Sunday, Frank?
I think you'll see a fair chunk of them if they haven't worked on getting a suite already.
And are you going to the game, Frank?
I am planning on going, yes. And it's supposed to be nice and warm, too.
Really?
I have a sizable warm up here. It's supposed to get to like 7 degrees on Sunday. So
that's the same temperature here on the weekend, Frank.
7 Celsius?
Plus 7 Celsius.
Wow. How about you guys? Are you going to get a melt or what?
Well, who knows? I mean, the amount of snow that's been dumped in this city and the exceptionally poor snow removal. It's not, pardon me, it's not snow removal. It's snow moving around. They push it around. We'll see what happens. But what do you
Now,
like?
the more important question: have you gotten any golf sim time?
Well, we did a show. We did a show on Friday at the CCT, and we weren't able to do any. Eddie Steele was with us, and we weren't able to swing him that morning because we were just too busy. That was the morning of the Stu Skinner trade, and everything, all hell was breaking loose. So
Okay.
we didn't have time to get over to the sim. Have you been?
No, I every weekend, if I get like a break in my hockey schedule, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll head over there and hit some balls on the sim, and I never do.
Well, if it melts a lot here, Frank, I just think there's too much snow. We could also go to Terra Pines, where that's the course that stays open year round here.
How does that work?
It's well, you almost need to take a power drill with you to put the peg in the ground because it's just hard as a rock. If they don't get any snow at Terra Pines, they are open all the time, and there's a 640-yard par 5, and you get a little bit of roll, you can get on in 2.
I might need 3 or 4.
Yeah. But the other thing too is you got to have some schnapps because it's cold as hell out there. So but it's fun. We only play 9 holes, so.
Interesting business model being open all year out there.
Yeah, and it's not like I think it's like $50 a round too.
I wonder how much action they get. There's
Yeah.
a guy that I play with here. He plays all year, and we actually don't really have any snow cover right now, just like little spots here and there. And he gets in like 330 rounds a year.
Oh man, that's a lot. Yeah. We played there last January and into like November as well, last year. So we just had so much snow. I don't think it's probably playable with the amount of snow. So
I think that's maybe his secret to life. The guy's, I think he's turning 60 soon, and he looks like he's 25. And maybe it's getting out there and walking every day. that's
exactly.
doing it.
We take the carts. We're not walking, but that's the way it goes.
I
Got a lot-
am definitely a model of health.
Yes. Good stuff, Frank. We'll talk to you on Thursday, big guy.
See you, Kevin.
Frank Saravalli from Victory Plus TV, Frankly Hockey. Headliner of the day brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, your top defense pairing against leaks. That's mrrooter.ca. Tons of texts to get through. Drew just even said, tell Frank he just jinxed the Flyers. Watch them go 2-7-1 in the next 10. They're an interesting team. The Oilers didn't play very well on Saturday afternoon, but it's a 3-2 game. It's a 3-0 game before they get rolling, the Oilers. They had opportunities, but Vladar, again, this is a guy that when you talk about the Vezina Trophy, Dan Vladar he wouldn't even be in the conversation, but should he be? I mean, think about the guys, the Vezina Trophy winner this year. It's going to be someone that we've never seen before, with the exception of maybe an Andrei Vasilevsky, if he can get things going. When you look at, again, goals against average, Vasilevsky's 7th at 236. Vladar's at 239. Vladar's minutes are up there at 1450. I think Vasilevsky's higher than that. But the guys that are at the top of the table in goals against average are guys that have never had a sniff there before. Mackenzie Blackwood, Scott Wedgwood, Philip Grubauer, Brandon Bussey, Jesper Wallstedt. Kemper's been around there before. He's at 232. But if you look at the top 10 guys, those are names that normally on the list for Vezina Trophy candidates, not even close. Not even close. Should mention, too, in the NHL Art Ross scoring race, Nathan McKinnon is now 2 points ahead of Connor McDavid, 74 for McKinnon. McDavid is at 72. Macklin Celebrini at 3. Leon Draisaitl's T5 with Mikko Rantanen. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing.
Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic oath to do no harm and act in the best interests of all pipes, whether PVC, copper, or otherwise.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Help your body manage stress with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Plus. This liquid formula is fortified with nutritional yeast, providing B vitamins for stress reduction and probiotics for intestinal health. Find it at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 8:44 in Edmonton on a Tuesday morning. Man, we were talking about the weather right off the top of the show. It's warming up as the day progresses here. We're looking at pretty good temperatures right through. And Frank was saying the temperature is going to be pretty good for the weekend in Philadelphia. Here, I mean, we're looking at highs of 5 or 6 degrees for the weekend here, plus 5 or 6. And Really good warming up trend moving forward here in the City of Champions. Text 833-401-1440. Brad texts in. Did McKenna going to Penn State hurt him? Well, I would say no, Brad, because you can talk about his, because people look at the points. They go, okay, here's his points. They look at last year in Medicine Hat, he had a 50-plus game point scoring streak going. The level of competition in the NCAA is far, far superior than what the Western Hockey League offers. He is at a level now, again, and you look at where he picked up the 14 points here at Worlds. Well, again, he's one of the youngest players at the World Hockey Championship. He's one of the youngest players at Penn State playing NCAA. So he's going up against stiffer, older competition. When you look at the Western League, what it's become, because of, if you want to call it a transfer portal and all that other crap, it's becoming a younger and younger league every year. So the level of competition isn't at that point where it is at the NCAA for McKenna. So I would say absolutely not. This would help him moving forward. And the other thing too, Brad, I would say is, he's got a half year under his belt, and, you would think that the World Juniors would have been on his mind for a lot of it. Now you can get back to Penn State. And, the other thing with Penn State is they had so many players that went to the Spengler Cup with Guy Godowski's, U.S. selects team. Now those guys are going to be coming back. They're going to be full of confidence. So McKenna's going to have a little more confidence. Now he can just concentrate and have that familiarity for the first half that he, for the second half that he didn't have in the first half. Hacksaw says, my concern with McKenna being the consensus number one is, why is he a winger? Does he like having far less commitments than a center? No, it's a question that maybe that's where, when you employ him as a winger, he does his best. Let's be honest. You've seen at the Worlds him being able to have the vision on the ice. Out of all, you can talk about his stick handling, you can talk about his acceleration, but his vision on the ice might be his number one attribute. Maybe there's a time when he fills out a little bit more, and maybe he's still a guy that's growing. He's a slight guy. So maybe there is an opportunity where he goes into center. Canada says McKenna's got a late birthday. His real draft year was 2025. Same with Eichel. And he lit up the NCAA that year. Celebrini was in his true draft year and lit it up. Fair points. Fair points. Massey says, I would take Tidge Aginla over McKenna all day. I thought Tidge Aginla started the tournament off like a house on fire, and then I think he regressed a little bit. I think he's a hell of a player too, man. The guy's got good acceleration, good wheels, can stick handle in a phone booth. He's a wider body, stronger probably than a lot of the guys that are there. So Brad comes back, says, KK, I guess what I'm saying is that instead of racking up 140 points in the WHL, teasing teams, I think going to the NCAA hurt his first overall chances. Again, that's a fair comment. I think, when you go and play against better talent, higher end talent, you're going to be a better player. That's just the way the game goes. So Kenneth says all these McKenna texts should have an asterisk. He's going to be really, really good, if not great. Marty says Misa was disappointing to me. Me too. Brunick as well. And those are the two guys that we talked about earlier. I mean, those are the two guys that came back from, Pittsburgh, San Jose, respectively, and were released. I don't know. Duke, would you have either of those two guys in the top 8, 9, 10 performers for Canada?
McKenna and Misa?
No.
Brunick.
Misa and Brunick. Yeah.
No, I would, outside of Parake, I don't think I'd have any of the defensemen
Yeah.
inside the top 10. Misa, well, okay, let's just try, just off the top of our head here, run down. I thought Hage, Parake, Ivan Kovic,
Martin,
Brady Martin for sure. I thought Porter Martone stepped up as the tournament progressed. He's the team captain. I liked Iginla's game. I really liked Cole Reshny's game, actually. And it was kind of unique spot. He's like fourth line player, but first line power play exclusively to win faceoffs, which he did a good job of. Sam O'Reilly. I don't know how many we're at there already.
Yeah. Like Baudouin and Desnoyers.
I would still put McKenna inside the top 10 of Canadian players at the tournament. So we're very close to 10 there, if not already. I think the only thing that would maybe be on Misa's side is that, like I said, only one of the 8 defensemen would crack the top 10 players on the team, and Ivan Kovic would as the goalie. So, Misa's performance I was a little less concerned with overall. You mentioned it was, I think it was spec. But when you get the NHL players loaned back, it's just seemingly instinctual. We expect them to dominate because they're playing in the NHL. And that's not always the case. Remember, I think in 2014 it was, right? Devontae Smith-Pelly, who's a role player, but made the Ducks out of training camp, freshly drafted, got loaned back. He's not going to rip the tournament up and put up 20 points. He's still a third line player. He's just a really good third line player.
Yeah.
When it comes to a guy like Misa, this is a second overall pick, but keep in mind, traditionally, when we see players really, really dominate, it's in the next year, right? Your final year of eligibility, as opposed to just freshly off of being drafted. So maybe our expectations were a little bit too high, but I do agree that Brunick didn't bring as much to the table as maybe as I expected.
Greater Man Jay says it seemed like Canada's defense was leaky. Was it just poor goaltending or too many offensive defensemen? I don't think it would be poor goaltending. There was a couple goals, I'll be honest, I thought were...
Well, there's a reason that they went to Ivan Kovic after the Finland game, right? They didn't think George played well enough. And it's too bad because Carter George was the team's best player last year at the tournament when the rest of the roster essentially didn't show up at all. And he lets in a few that weren't the best against the Finns. And Ivan Kovic, I thought, in the Czech game, both goaltenders, the box score numbers don't read very prettily, but each respective goaltender kept their team in the game, which is crazy to say. So, I don't know. It's funny because I also don't think it was too many offensive defensemen for Canada. They just didn't play well.
Yeah,
the D-men.
And we got to get a hold of the Rad Man. We'll try to get Ethan McKenzie on.
Yeah, we were supposed to have Kurt Hill today.
Yeah.
The GM of the Oil Kings. We're gonna have him tomorrow instead. We're just working on firming up a time just because he ended up have something come up today. And then I'm thinking in the aftermath of that, hooking up with the likes of.
He's going to take a couple days off.
I would think so, right? Give him a chance to reset, get back in the swing of things with the Oil Kings, and then listen. I don't know how proficient in English or English media, because the Oil Kings had a couple Czech guys that went too, right? So
Max Curran.
Max Curran, heartbreaker city for the Canadians. Get a chance to maybe have one of them on with Laddie, obviously in the coming weeks once they return as well.
Adam Yeko last year scored the big goal against Canada.
Yep.
Gets hurt right before the tournament here.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if, just a player like that had that experience in one more year, if that would have been maybe a little bit of a lift, a little different a look, maybe, a guy that has some offensive capability. And when you're playing a team like Sweden, you get a big goal from a guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
Never know. So with Kurt Hill, Sean texted in and says, hey, Kev, what's up with this Joe Iginla trade? So the Oil Kings traded him out west. Was he not happy here, or did he want to play closer to home? So I'm not 100% sure on it, Sean, but we're going to ask Kurt Hill about it tomorrow then.
Yeah, well, and I'll be just reading the release from Matt Baird and the team that we got over email yesterday, and this trade came across. To me, it comes across as like the Oil Kings are looking to win the league this year, right? And Iginla, solid player, but what the guy they're getting is he's a year older and more productive, has more offensively. So to me, at face value, it comes across as just an upgrade on player.
A little older too, right?
That's what I mean. You're right. And you see that in years that teams are loading up, you get your older players, usually aging out players because they're more experienced. Maybe they've played playoff games, whatever the case, right? So that's what it comes across as to me, but we'll obviously get a lot more clarification from Kurt tomorrow.
Yeah. Is it 1 year older?
Yeah, just 1 year older.
Top of the hour, we got Hal Gill, Nashville Predators analyst. We'll discuss tonight's Oilers Predators game. Also coming up as the show progresses, and we got to get old Josh Fenwick involved because we're going to have Paul Sir from Hoop City on, and I'm hoping for a nice follow-up question from Josh this time. It's such an important part of the interviewing process. But Paul will be with us coming up in the 10 o'clock hour as well. Landon Ferraro from Sports 1440 pre- and post-game shows here on Sports 1440. Before that, time now for Sports 1440 update brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding, awswelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Handful of games across the NHL last night. Utah beat the Rangers 3-2 in overtime. Igor Shesterkin left that one early due to injury. Detroit beat Ottawa 5-3. Justin Serdif, 5 points, and his first career hat trick lifts the Capitals to a 7-4 win over Anaheim. LA doubled up Minnesota 4-2, and the Kraken run their point streak to 8 games after beating the Flames 5-1. Off the ice, the Flyers have extended Christian Dvorak to a 5-year deal with an AAV of $5.15 million. Dvorak, 25 points in 39 games so far this year, his first in Philadelphia. And Carolina acquired defenseman Juuso Valimaki from Utah for future considerations. The World Juniors wrapped in Minnesota yesterday. Canada capturing the bronze medal, its first since 2012, defeating Finland 6-3. And Sweden takes home gold for the first time in 15 years, beating Czechia 4-2. Canadian defenseman Zane Parik and forward Michael H. were named to the tournament's all-star team. France, Latvia, and Czechia have all announced their full Olympic hockey rosters this morning. Former Oiler David Tomaszek was among the forwards named for the Czechs. Finally, Toronto Raptors beat the Hawks for a second straight game. This one, 118-100. 7 different Raptors hitting double-digit points in the victory. Elsewhere, 7 other games, including the Pistons, continue to cruise 121-90 over the Knicks. The Thunder lose to Charlotte 124-97, and Denver gets past Philly 125-124 in overtime. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Nashville Predators analyst and former NHLer Hal Gill, and we'll check in with a new edition of In or Out. I'm Brandon Douglas, Sector Sports 1440 Update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
I skipped breakfast this morning. Stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
New Year's resolutions. We all make them. We all say we're going to start eating healthier or going to the gym or starting that new hobby. But at GS Construction, we actually follow through on our New Year's resolution because it's the same every year. We promise to set the groundwork, literally, for another year of progress and growth. And we've stuck by that resolution since 1974. So start that all-you-can-eat diet. GS Construction is going to start planning right now for the year ahead. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Reduce joint pain and inflammation with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Gel Caps, packed with a perfect ratio of omegas 3, 6, and 9 to support optimal health. Find this vegan, gluten-free formula at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Get ready.
We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Shoresy's back, and it's only on Crave.
We need total buy-in from every guy in this room.
The Smash Hit Series returns for a brand new season.
We're going to be playing the EU All-Stars.
Shoresy is facing his toughest competition yet.
This EU team is spectacular. Yeah, I'm not scared of them.
Hear that, Shoresy?
Let's make sure they never forget who we are.
Shoresy, new season, stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe at crave.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:01 in Edmonton, and time now for the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge, where the clear-out on remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas continues. The Sahara package is our bestseller. So we have a great selection to pick from, starting at $59,900, expecting them to sell fast, so come in soon before they are all gone. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com as we welcome back Hal Gill, Nashville Predators analyst, to the show. Good morning, Hal. You're with Kevin Karius once again. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Excited about the game tonight.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it as well. The Oilers have lost a couple here at home, and Nashville, as you know, coming on. What was it? At what point was the turnaround in Nashville after the slow start, do you think, Hal?
It was a beatdown by the Florida Panthers in their own building. It was an 8-3 game, and it wasn't even close. And I think the boys had a heart-to-heart, and they figured that was rock bottom. And since then, they've played with some jam, some pop, and they're playing together. And there's been bumps in the road. It hasn't always been smooth sailing since then, but when they do hit a bump, they can level out and get back to playing. And their starts have been a problem. They don't have great starts, but they find a way to make it up and find a way to win after that. So what they have right now is a good recipe. They're playing together and they're playing hard.
Was that Florida game, Hal, right around when Barry Trotz sort of went off on the team as well?
It was in that same in that area, and I use that game just as with statistics and wins and losses. That was kind of game, but it was in that same area. Yeah, and I think I don't think Barry had to go out and do that. I think the boys knew that well before he said anything.
Hal Gill with us on Sports 1440. Wanted to maybe get your thoughts on Spencer Stastny, who Nashville traded to the Oilers, not quite a month ago. I think he's fit in quite nicely here. What was it about Stastny that they felt they had some guys on the back end that they didn't need him and they sent him this way, Hal?
Yeah, we had 6 guys on the back. 8 guys on the back end, and so you can only get 6 spots. And I think with Justin Barron, they were comfortable with him, and he was injured, but he was coming back. And I think they figured it was the right time to move, and they were happy with the 3rd round draft pick. But I know it wasn't an easy decision. I think the Preds really love the way, and I'm sure you guys do, the way he skates and the way he can push up the ice, the way he can close gaps, the way he can get back for pucks and get breakouts quick. I think the Preds do miss that. He's the guy that brings that. So, great kid.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for him, for an opportunity here, and hopefully he does well.
I've been saying for a few weeks now, Hal, that like his gap control, and you just mentioned it, really impresses me because his foot speed is so good. He has the ability to, and cheating's the wrong word, he just moves up a little bit further than a lot of defensemen because he's quick enough to get back. And if he has to get back to a puck, maybe just speak to that being a former defenseman.
Yeah, that's something I could never do. I'll tell you that. I had one crack at a guy. If he got by me, and then it was too late, and he can have 2 or 3. Like he can jump up, and what I really like is, and what he was doing well when he was playing well with Nashville is, he'll push. If I'm playing as his partner, he'll push the guy with the puck my way and then get back to his guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he can gap up there, and I'm not talking about at my blue line. I'm talking about their blue line. And that just to be able to shrink the game that quickly and be that aggressive without fear of losing your gap is changes the game, and it allows the back pressure to help as well. So I love the way he does that, the way he gets up and attacks the game, and he should. Why wouldn't you go every time?
Yeah.
If you can get back in 2 strides, why wouldn't you?
But Hal, when you played, when you spread those long arms out, you covered half the ice up.
Well, yeah, I didn't get beat as much as I did, but I only had one crack at it, though. I better be good. I better be big. I better fall down the right way. That's what I always.
Oh, hey, man, don't sell yourself short. 1,100 games plus in the NHL, man. Marvelous career. Hal Gill with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Steven Stamkos starting to find the net, and how cool was it to watch goal number 600 go in the other night?
So awesome. Yeah, it's been fun watching. A legend. We all know he's a Hall of Famer. He's a winner. He's a goal scorer. What I've been really impressed with is how he was struggling, wasn't scoring goals like last year. It took a while for him to come around this year, but he changed his game. He has a lot of goals this year where he's in around the crease and digging and deflections. Just playing a harder game, finding a different way to score goals, which I've been really impressed with. And then of course he goes out and gets a 600, which was the prototypical hammer from his spot, and it was awesome to watch. But just a complete package, and just the way he carries himself is he's a legend.
Yeah.
You just watch him walk into a room, and he's the man, and now 600, he certainly is.
He hasn't lost anything on that one-timer, right, Hal? Just that, that patented one. That no,
he's still got that. I just think he went through a hard time where the Preds were really teeing him up. Roman Josi is a great player, but it wasn't the same setup as Kucherov or Hedman that he was seeing in Tampa Bay, and Phil Forsberg is a great player, made a great pass on his to help him get his 600. But it's a different look, and so he had to adapt his game. And now he still has that one timer at times. It's just not as predictable as it was in Tampa. And so, but he changed, he adapted, and good for him. He's having a great season now.
Hal Gill with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. I wanted to maybe touch on some younger guys in the organization. One of them was in the Matthias Ekholm trade, and that's a local product in Reed Schaefer. Just starting and continuing to find his way. He's played 18 games with the big club. What have you seen from a guy that's a really big body and can get around as well?
Yeah, Big Red, we're calling him. He's he gets in on time, and I love, it's one thing to be big, and I used to love it when a big guy would come in on the forecheck and try to hit me because they weren't worried about getting the puck, and Schaefer goes in, and he goes in with a purpose, and he gets on time, and he will get the big hit, but a lot of times he's disrupting the play. He's got a good stick, and then when he does disrupt the play and get the puck free, he's taking it right to the cage, and he, that's how he scored a couple of his goals. He had a great game in Nashville playing against Calgary. He scored a goal and then went out and hit a guy at the blue line and went back and fought him. And it was like, okay, this kid has got some confidence. He's got some swagger. And ever since that, he's kind of just built his game with a little more confidence every game. And it's not something, he plays a good sound defensive role and then goes and forechecks and takes it to the net. And that's pretty much it, but he's pretty good at it.
Ozzy Weisblatt's another one. He's out for several weeks now, but maybe just the story, if you can touch on that, with his brother and scoring his first goal. It's a hell of a story with his mom and everything there, Hal.
Yeah, there's not, it's not too many times where I get caught up in the emotion of in hockey. You want to see the hits that Ozzy brings. You want to see the fire, the passion. But the emotional side of that was pretty awesome. He's gone through so much, just losing his brother in training camp, and his other brother Oasis was at training camp as well in Nashville. He's playing in Milwaukee now, and they went home for a bit, came right back, and went back to work and played with fire, with passion. And Ozzy, kind of the same story, was going out scoring goals and hitting and fighting, and when he scored that first goal, it was awesome. Just the sigh of relief that he had to score and the point to the heavens. Really, it was emotional, and I was so happy for him. That kid just goes out and grinds. He's in your face. He stirs it up. He'll play chippy. He'll play hard. But just a lot of fun to watch. And so we miss him in the lineup after being injured, but certainly a bright future. I know everyone in the organization just loves this kid.
Yeah, no kidding. Talk about a bright future. And just after watching the World Juniors, I'm sure you got a chance to watch a little bit of Canada, Hal, but Brady Martin is a guy that's quite a high draft pick from 2025, 5th overall with the team. Had to leave, unfortunately, the World Juniors. I think maybe a shoulder injury. I'm not sure exactly the severity of it. But what do you make of a guy that you would have seen earlier in the year that played just a handful of games for the Preds?
Yeah, it's tough because I think the way he played, we got to see him for a few games, and I was hoping we'd get to see him a few more. But when you see him play in the World Juniors, he's a bull. Like he's got a ton of skill, but he plays with an edge. He plays strong and hard, and I think everyone who comes into the NHL goes, okay, this is a different level, and so I can't be the same player I was against 19-year-olds. Yeah. I'm playing against men, and so I think he not that he had a hard time with it, he just couldn't play his game. And so I think, watching him play a few games, confidence-wise, I think it was better that they let him go and build his game, get stronger, and go, because you saw him in the World Juniors and how good he can be and how dynamic. I just think one more year of growing and hopefully not injured too badly so he can play the rest of the season and battle and compete. And then I'm pretty sure he's going to be ready for the next step. It's always one of those things where you get a taste of the NHL and you see what it's all about. And then, you go back, reset, and then you go, okay, I need to be better at this, better at that, and then come back and understand what you're getting into. And I think everyone is certainly excited to see him and what he can do at some point in the NHL. It's going to happen quick.
Yeah. Hal Gill with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. How busy do you think that Barry Trotz will be, coming up to the NHL trade deadline here? Hal, a handful of guys that are UFAs next year, and I'm sure some other teams might be knocking on the door with some players there. But is it going to be a buy, sell, busy? What do you think for Barry Trotz?
You got me. I don't know, and I don't think Barry knows either. I think it's you're not too far out of last place, and you're knocking at the door to try to get into a wild card spot, and all the pieces that he has that he could move are playing awesome. So they're playing great hockey. And so they're in a really tough spot. And I don't know how Barry's going to go through this. But you look at guys like Michael Bunting is playing great hockey, and I know he's a name that's been tossed around. Ryan O'Reilly doesn't have a no-move clause, a no trade, but I think there's a ton of respect for him, and they're not going to move him unless he okays it. I think they want to respect him for all he's done with the Preds. The list goes on. Michael McCarron has been awesome. I think they want to keep him around. You have all these good players that are trade pieces, but when they're playing great and the team is winning, I think Barry wants to win. He wants to build a culture based on going out and performing and playing well for each other. And if you trade guys away, you kind of knock down that culture. And so I'm not sure what the upside would be. I'm sure they're going to look at things, but I can't tell you. I could see the Preds adding a piece to try to go out and play. They have a ton of space. They have a ton of on the cap, and they have space. They have draft picks and so many options, but I just don't know what they're going to do with them. I wish I could give you a better answer. I think there's a lot of GMs that are looking around going, I'm not sure how to do this either.
Yeah, no kidding. Are they happy with Justus Annunen to sign him to that extension the other day? So they're happy with Saros and Annunen moving forward?
Yeah, they love him. And he's gotten a raw deal because, Saros has played so much and played so well. When Annunen has gone in, he's played well. It just, they didn't get early in the season. They didn't get goals. They weren't scoring. And so he'd play a good game and then get a loss. And it was a tough situation. There's the way the compact schedule is, they're not getting any practice time. So, no offense to our goaltending coach, Ben Vanderklark, he doesn't have a shot like McKinnon, So, when he gets thrown into a game, he's got to face some heat. And so, he's handled it really well. He's a pro. He's in great shape. He keeps himself dialed in, and he's played well for the Preds. So they rewarded him, and I think a really good deal. Not much money. I think he likes playing here. He likes playing with Saros, and they have a good bond, and they're going to go with it. I'm sure Trotz and management can't wait to get Matt Duchene and Kyle Turris off the books for that matter, huh? I know it. Yeah, it's been lingering around, but hopefully, when the time is right and the Preds are ready to make big moves, it'll coincide. That timing will be right where they free up all the cap space and get all the players they want. They have the young guys coming in. The veterans are playing well, and that's when lightning will strike. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. Hey, Hal, as always, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight, and all the best in 2026. Thanks for coming on. All right. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year. Yeah, that's Hal Gill. 1,100 plus games in the NHL, lots with Boston, Toronto, obviously Nashville, commentator now for the Preds. And that's the game of the day, brought to you by St. Albert Dodge. And again, we're closing out the remaining Jeep Wrangler 2025s. $59,900 gets you into one of those babies. They're expected to sell out fast, so head down to the lot at St. Albert Dodge. Check them out at stalbertdodge.com. Matt Duchene, one more year next year, 6.5 on the cap. Then he goes down to 1.5 and change for the following 3 years. So at least it's $5 million less. Kyle Turris, who played here in Edmonton, good guy, has 3 more years. This year, next year, and the year following. Duchene's 6.5 comes off next year. Then he's got 3 more. So 6.5 for this year. So they're at $8.5 million on buyout and cap charges right now between Duchene and Turris. That goes down to 3.5 next year. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. It's the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're also streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The new double cheesy melt at McDonald's. We're talking 2 juicy, mouth-watering 100% Canadian beef patties, 2 slices of cheesy goodness, with even more melty, cheesy sauce on top. Topped with pickles, then crispy and grilled onions. The way it all comes together, you don't just eat it, you melt into it. The double cheesy melt, only at McDonald's. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
Remember 2025? That's so last year. But seriously, St. Albert Dodge needs to clear some 2025 models off the lot to make room for new inventory. So they're having a huge clear out of all the remaining new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Saharas. The Sahara package is the best seller, so they have a great selection to choose from and priced from as low as $59.9. I don't have to tell you, these are going to go fast. So get there before they are gone. Just head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Help your body manage stress with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Plus. This liquid formula is fortified with nutritional yeast, providing B vitamins for stress reduction and probiotics for intestinal health. Find it at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Looking for the perfect used ride? Now's the time. Drive away for as little as $25 bi-weekly. Go Auto has over 7,500 used vehicles in stock with something for everyone. From budget-friendly cars and road trip-ready SUVs to powerful work-ready trucks. With around 70 locations across Canada, your next vehicle is closer than you think. Whether you're upgrading, downsizing, or buying for the first time, we've got the right ride at the right price. But don't wait. These deals won't stick around forever. Start shopping today at goauto.ca.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca. Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 923 in Edmonton. I noticed that one CFL note from yesterday. Karius Jackson, the former Edmonton Elks head coach, is now in Calgary as their quarterbacks coach. So rounding out the staff in Calgary. Karius was always a really nice guy, very accommodating here. And, you know, when he took over from Chris Jones, they had pretty good success. And he was really cool to deal with, good. Whether it be down at the field or, you know, even here on the show, you know, back in the day, you know, before they made the coaching change again and brought in Mark Killam. So hope all the best for Karius Jackson. I think down the road, I think he could be head coaching material once again in this league. Text 833-401-1440. RBS says, Hal Gill sounds like Strutty. I don't know, maybe a little bit. Wonderful career, Hal Gill. And you think about it, so the Boston Bruins draft them in the 8th round. So you're going, okay, this is a flyer. This is a flyer. He goes on to play 1,100 games plus in the NHL. Boston, Toronto. Won a cup with Pittsburgh. played 24 games for Pittsburgh in 2009 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 111 total playoff games. Went on to play in Montreal, then Nashville, and closed out his career with Philadelphia. He was a large man, big boy, man, 6'7", 250 pounds. And he's not lying when he says that he had one chance to get the guy coming through the neutral zone or whatever. But I wasn't kidding either. I mean, the guy had a wingspan like a pterodactyl. Like it when he got he was a left shot. When he got his right hand on you, whether it be, coming across, on the left side, going through the middle, or his left hand on you, going down the boards, he snuffed you out. Again, not the best foot speed, but I mean, the guy was, again, 6'7", 250 pounds here. Toronto Raptors, we're going to have Paul Sir coming on at 10 o'clock. The Raptors won 118-100 over Atlanta. Josh Fenwick, did you watch the entirety of that game? I'm assuming you did.
You'd be assuming wrong, Kev.
You're our basketball guy, man, in the morning.
I know. But we had some guests over at our apartment yesterday. So
okay, what do you mean guests?
My roommate had friends from Florida that were staying with us last night.
So nothing on in the background?
No, they were very like they wanted to go out and see things and whatever. So we were taking them around to places, a lot of photos. They were like, it's like a winter wonderland. They're from Florida, so they don't get snow, obviously. Which,
see, this also sounds to me like I'm a little concerned about your dry January being intact.
Oh, it almost ended last night.
So what were you looking at here?
Well, so we went to a bar. We went to the bar where I work so that we could get some discounted stuff, whatever. And instinctively, I ordered a beer, and I always peel the label off, and I put the bottle to my lips before I have a swig, and I go, oh my God. And I have to put it down. I'm like, dry January. I pass it over to my roommate. I'm like, you got to drink that. Yeah. I'll get a ginger ale, please.
I would like to see just somehow, just 5 days in, 6 days in, lights out.
Normally I have no problem with it, but just like the instinct to, you're at a bar, you got to get a beer.
Anyway, the Raptors won 118-100. They're 22-15. Barnes had 18. So, they're hanging in there. Yeah. Did Duke tell you about the New Year's Eve shots of the home brew or not?
Nope. Oh, no, really? Didn't hear about this.
Duke, are you ready to chime in on this one? Because Duke had 2. Conman had 1.
Yeah. So it was strong for sure. I mean, it smelled like something you'd clean your walls with. But the taste was, I've had way worse. Like Connor and I were talking about it. Like, even if you're doing a shot of some bottom shelf vodka or another clear alcohol at whatever dive bar you happen to stumble into, like that is worse than what this this shine was. So no complaints. It was fine. Got me well on my way for what was an exciting and action-packed New Year's Eve.
Did you have you had one at 10 o'clock, then you had one at 11,
right?
Now, did you feel a little bit of warmth?
No. Oh, warmth. Yeah, like it was like you'd feel it sitting hot in your stomach for 10 minutes after you take it, but outside of that, no. That's not enough to push me over the edge.
To push you over the edge. Have to mention the world's longest hockey game is going to be taking place once again, February 5th to the 16th out at Sakers Acres. I got an email from Perry Zyla, who's in charge of officiating. And Perry just said, can you raise some awareness here? Because you have no idea how many referees you need to get this going. Like it's an incredible performance, or whatever you want to call it, from the volunteers. Perry says they're looking at between scorekeeping, reffing, other things as far as volunteers go. They're looking at 550 volunteer slots. You can send Perry a note at WLHGrefs@gmail.com if you'd like to referee. They go in time slots, anything you can do, but a lot of them are, 3-4 hours long. So you got to dress warmly, make sure that you got, the proper attire on. And it's to be honest with you, it's a 2-man system. There's no penalties called, but you can whistle down an offside or here and there. What it is a lot of the times, because especially when you're playing many hours, the referees blow the plays down. The goaltender will cover the puck up because you're trying to get a little breather because you don't have a lot of spares. So you want a little bit of a breather, and you end up the referees go in, get the puck, and have a face-off. So, obviously face-offs after goals and things like that. You don't need experience to referee in this. What you do need is just have the passion to come out and be a part of it. I was lucky enough to play in 5 of these world longest games. They're not easy by any stretch, but it pales into comparison what the kids, especially the kids, are going through in cancer treatments. And when the kids come out and support the players and the officials and the refs, it's you get a real good feeling inside. But over $8 million raised for leading edge equipment for the Cross Cancer Institute. So they're looking for referees, scorekeepers. Give Perry Zyla a call, 722-3814, or an email at wlhgrefs@gmail.com. If you are a part of it, I can guarantee you'll feel good about being a part of it. So if you've got the opportunity, head out. Text 833-401-1440. Mark says, hi, KK. The bronze game was great. Canada looked inspired. They were hitting again, getting out of their zone fast compared to the Czech semifinal. All credit to the Czechs who brought their A game. Do you think the pressure of a nation got to them? Thanks, Mark. A pressure of a nation in Canada, I'm assuming that's where you're going. There's pressure every year for these guys. But again, we've talked about the players that, that are still in the NHL that weren't loaned to the World Junior team. That makes the team a whole heck of a lot better, does it not? There's not problems with developing players and players getting to a level where you're at a World Junior tournament and you lose one game. Not a big, I still, when people say that there's problems with hockey in our country, I don't see it. Just don't see it. But the Czechs played really hard, and we've had texts that come in this morning talking about the fact that the Canada game was almost like the Czechs' gold medal game. And you know what? And Duke and I, we discussed it yesterday. If you would have a day off in between games from the semifinals to the final and the bronze, I think you would have a different outlook on how you prepare for that game. Because, the Czechs came in, they couldn't have been on more of a high. Sweden couldn't have been on more of a high after, let's be honest, Finland could have just as easily gone to the gold medal game. They lost in a shootout, 7-8 shooters in. But it's just a different mindset, different mentality of how, where your head is at, where your body's at. I think they need a day off in between the semifinals and the final. We had several texts come in about, the fact that, maybe starting the tournament a tad earlier. There are blackout dates on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Maybe the fans would want to go to watch these games on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. The NFL's doing it. NBA's doing it. With the NHL being blacked out on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, it's a pretty good time to showcase what you got there. And then, we had a texter yesterday about taking January 1 off. I think everyone needs a reset. I think they need to have that one day off, and that's everyone. Because you think about the crews that are working and people at the rink, ushers, everything. You think like all the people that you don't really take into consent about looking at what they are doing. And those people have been working all through the Christmas season. And maybe they need that break around Christmas too. I don't know. But I just think that there's that time between the semifinals and the championship gold medal game and the bronze where it might be better to have that one extra day off in between. Text 833-401-1440. Did I miss anything, Duke, during the interview process with
I don't think so.
Yeah. A lot of Gavin McKenna
Yeah.
Yeah,
After your chat with Frank.
Yeah. And I mean, this guy's still a hell of a player. You know, like people just, I guess it's our second nature to, you know, dissect and look and try to tear apart people's games. Well, he also did a lot of good stuff too. Um, Even like being a winger compared to a centerman. People going, I'd be wary of drafting a winger over a centerman at number 1 overall. We've had lots of comments on our text line about that. When we come back, I guess we'll be going in or out with the Duke of Delburne. We've got Paul Sir coming up at 10 o'clock from Hoop City. And then Landon Ferraro at 10:20, our Sports 1440 pre and post game host. When we come back, another edition of In or Out with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick also in the Sports 1440 AM studios here at West Edmonton Mall. And we're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Help your body manage stress with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Plus. This liquid formula is fortified with nutritional yeast, providing B vitamins for stress reduction and probiotics for intestinal health. Find it at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, with showcase style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018, visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
Reduce joint pain and inflammation with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Gel Caps, packed with a perfect ratio of omegas 3, 6, and 9 to support optimal health. Find this vegan, gluten-free formula at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and even though it's a few months past Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks right now. This is the time of year when so many people go to the new RV show and buy their new RVs.
All the new RV stores are bragging about the latest makes and models.
That's right, Bob. Those beautiful state-of-the-art RVs are brand new right up until the time they leave the showroom. Then they're used. Just like every quality used RV on our lot, somebody pays full price at the RV show or at the new RV store, and in a matter of seconds, it's worth tens of thousands of dollars less just because they picked it up.
Where does all that money go, Rick?
It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell those same RVs just a few years later. If it wasn't for new RV buyers, we'd be out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:39 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick with you here on a Tuesday morning. Again, we just talked about that fantastic weather that we're looking at the City of Champions here coming up, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Is going to be exceptional. Time now for another edition of Are You In or Out?
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Let her buck.
The Edmonton Oilers back at it tonight, host of the Nashville Predators for a team, that being the Oilers, in a little mini slide here coming out of the Christmas break, and Leon Draisaitl in what could maybe best be described as a dry-ish spell. This game against this specific opponent, being Nashville, comes just at the right time.
Leon Draisaitl, Duke, 1.66 career points per game against Nashville.
Is that good?
Well, it's okay. Connor McDavid is 1.79.
Oh, okay.
Those are the top two players against Nashville that are active players in the league. Well, it's actually in the Predators franchise history. Those are the two teams that have lit them up the most. Two guys that have lit them up the most. So I'm gonna be in for sure. I mean, I discussed those points for Leon off the hop. 26 goals, 45 points in his last 20 games against Nashville. Connor McDavid has at least a point in 15 straight games against Nashville, including 11 multi-point efforts in that span. 10 goals, 26 assists. It's just, I mean, whatever it is, these guys score on Nashville for fun. Having said that, I'm totally on board with what Speck said earlier.
The other end of the ice?
Let's try to keep Nashville to 2 goals or less tonight. How's that sound?
That I think would be a very good starting point, but let me play devil's advocate on that point specifically. So the Predators are a team that, they're playing much better as of late, had a terrible start to the season yet again, but they're 23rd in the league in goals for. That's not very good. They're even worse in goals against, 25th. So if you're the Oilers, in a world where you can't, fix the whole ship in one night, right? You got to kind of do it piece by piece to at least get the team's mojo back a little bit. Would you not be okay with winning a 6-4 game tonight? And yeah, maybe you are still a little leaky defensively, but you get some offensive juice back flowing into the stick and hands of Leon Draisaitl, and then all of a sudden moving into the games later this week. We know how condensed the schedule is for the month of January and heading into the Olympic break. Like, you've got plenty of games to try and work more of these kinks out and get back to that more solid defensive hockey you were playing in most of December, right? If I were the Oilers, I would say, like, if we have to go out there and win a shootout tonight just to get feeling a little bit better about ourselves, I'm okay with that for tonight. Like, this is the opponent to do it against.
Yes. And I mean, again, Nashville's 4 points back of the Oilers, Duke.
Oh, buddy.
So,
and the Predators we've talked about all morning. This is a team coming in 7-3 in their last 10. Like, they're feeling themselves a little bit right now. And particularly a guy like Steven Stamkos.
Yeah, 600 goal the other day. They've been going 11-7 a few times here.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. I mentioned the stats too with, and we're going to find out if Connor Ingram, he was in the starters net yesterday.
Right.
To me, do you as a coach, Duke, do you look and go, okay, well, last year, Cal Pickard played 3 games against Nashville, won them all, and had a .934 save percentage. Does it matter?
Great question. And you look at the most recent starts for each respective goaltender. Like on New Year's Eve, Connor Ingram was not good. against the Bruins, right? It was easily his worst go of this season. Of the 6 goals, I'll make the argument that 4 of them were kind of ones you don't like to see your goalie let in. Cal Pickard takes a loss in his most recent outing too, but I mean, how many of those goals do you say were bad goals? I don't think any of them. So do you want to get your other guy back in there to try and shake that bad performance off? Or do you ride a guy that, as you say, has had success and has been playing quite well recently? So even if the last result wasn't what you wanted, if it were me, I'd be starting Cal Pickard tonight. But the indications from yesterday's skate look like Connor Ingram's going to get a chance to get his season back on track. Number 2, we'll head back over to the World Junior Hockey Championships wrapping up yesterday. Canada securing the bronze medal with a win over Finland. Zane Parek, another strong performance in the victory. He sets a single tournament record for points by a Canadian defenseman with 13. The reports are he's going to head back to Calgary, join the team on this current road trip. And we touched on it off the hop this morning that, once the team makes the trade that sends Rasmus Andersson away, which does still seem inevitable, right? Maybe that opens a spot for Parek to play a little bit more, but this is still a Flames team that look at and say, why are you trying to put yourself in this mushy middle? Your bottom end defensemen, these aren't guys riding 900 game point streaks that you feel necessarily, and their current play matters as well. But if you take a rotation of who's sitting on a night to night basis, get Zane Parek in there, get him playing, even if it is a trial by fire basis at the NHL level. Very sparingly used his minutes, very minor when he was playing with the Flames before heading to the World Junior Championship. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. Get him out there working a power play unit. Get him integrated, because this is, in theory, your franchise moving forward. That's what you have banked on in your draft stock.
Just want to mention an article that just came out from the Canadian Press regarding Parek's comments. And things like that.
Sure.
And it's saying that he concluded his Monday scrum with available. He wasn't made available to reporters until the World Juniors concluded. So he says, this is his quote, "I think some things got spun out of proportion, probably worded things wrongly. But obviously it wasn't my intent in the words I said. I sincerely apologize to the Flames organization and my teammates. At the end of the day, it's not acceptable and that can't happen." So,
which, he's obviously walking it back. He does feel like maybe he spoke a little bit out of turn, but what he just talked about, you don't want. He doesn't want to be a robot and just give canned answers all the time. That is the most canned answer
for sure
you've ever heard.
Well, he's so he's he's got to go back to the dressing room right away, because he's going back. He's meeting the team on the road here.
Yeah.
So, it's funny. He's there'll be a chat about it. There will be, I could see Michael Backlund talking to him. I could see some other guys on the Flames leadership group discussing this with him.
Kevin, you've been around pro hockey players for 30 years now. Do you really think that him saying something like that bothers the guys back in the Flames dressing room, or do they say he's just a kid? He's one of the best players on this team. He's trying to do something a little bit different. It's not like he's personally called out and be like, "Oh yeah, Backlund back in Calgary, he's always telling me to shut the hell up and just say get pucks in deep and bang bodies." It's
probably the latter more.
It's more of a catch-all.
Yeah, more the latter, I would say. But he is understanding right now that he's got to go back in that room. That's the thing,
right?
So he understands that. This is, as you said, he's walking it back with these comments, and because that the teammates in Calgary were like, what are you saying here? What are you saying? Because they've seen him play for 19, 20 games.
Right.
They know what he can do offensively, but they know what he can do defensively or what he's not doing.
Right.
So the accountability has to be there. And that's, I think, where he's going. I need to get back, and these are going to be my teammates for the rest of the year, I hope, and moving forward. But that's just the way it is. That's how it works. So I would think that he'll go back to, and again, the Rasmus Andersson thing, what are we looking at? Another 6 weeks, 2 months?
At most, right? Because he made the Swedish Olympic team.
Yep.
So he's going to obviously head over to Italy. But in Parek's, he played 11 games this year.
Is that what it was?
Just 11 games played of the whole, because he wasn't playing every night, right? in those 11 games, he was averaging 14 minutes and 46 seconds. Like that's low even by a third pairing defenseman standards, or maybe on par with it, I suppose. Just the one assist in that time, and it came on the power play. But I just look at it and say, like, part of this goes back to we talked so much Flames in that the Christmas week in how badly the Oilers beat them here. And yeah, good bounce back by them on their own home ice. But I still can't wrap my head around why the Flames think that they need to like try and make the playoffs.
Yeah, I know where you're at. A trial by fire. I mean, he's going to have all the confidence going on offensively. Again, if he can just raise the level of his defensive play by, I don't know, 30%, I think then there's something there for the rest of this year. But he's got a lot of work to do.
Oh, absolutely he does. But once again, it's like when you look at the Flames defense group, this isn't a team of world beaters. Like, no, with all due respect to Joel Hanley and Braden Pahal as your third pairing guys, why can Zane Prake not play over one of those guys? And maybe it doesn't have to be every single night.
I'm trying to think who the best guy to play with, or if it's Ball or something. I don't know.
Well, because Uyghur's left-handed, right? But he plays the offside mostly out of necessity on this back end. Like, I'm still a big believer in Mackenzie Uyghur. He struggled a lot to start the season, played himself out of Olympic contention. I would really like to see him play alongside there, but it may be part of Uyghur's turnaround and play has been this pairing with Yan Kuznetsov, the kind of relatively, maybe outside of Flames fans, unheard of guy that's had a pretty good impression with the team. So we'll see how it unfolds moving forward for the Flames. Continuing cleanup from the NFL's regular season, we saw 16 different backup quarterbacks, some of them even third string and beyond quarterbacks, play meaningful snaps in week 18. Of those 16, I honestly think only one will actually be in the spot to compete for a starting job coming August. And it's a guy we've already talked about in the same sense. It's Kirk Cousins.
Who else is close?
So I'll tell you what, Kevin, I wrote down the names. Okay. Let me read them to you. Kirk Cousins, Riley Leonard, Davis Mills, Brandon Allen, Clayton Tune, Joe Milton, Brady Cook, Mitch Trubisky, Trey Lance, Chris Oladukin. I don't know the guy's first name. He was the other guy that came in for Kansas City. Bukelly, or Bukel, I don't know. Aiden O'Connell, Jacoby Brissett, Quinn Ewers, Josh Johnson, and Tanner McKee. Now, a couple of these names going into this, and it's one game in week 18, but like Tanner McKee and Trey Lance, I think were guys that and Joe Milton to an extent too, were names that you're still kind of curious on. They're younger. You're interested.
Maybe Quinn Ewers for me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I'd have to go with Quinn Ewers, and the other guy that has a lower possibility than Ewers in my mind is Riley Leonard then.
I am interested to see what the Colts are going to do, because I believe Daniel Jones is a free agent again.
Yeah.
And his injury came late enough in the season, like he's not going to be ready to start the year. So if you're the Colts, do you bring him back with the expectation that it's going to, he's not going to be ready to start the year? You want to hear something really crazy, Kevin? I think Kirk Cousins could be starting quarterback for the Colts to start next year.
Really?
I do. I think he's like a perfect stopgap for them to try and figure out what they're doing.
And that's assuming Penix is ready to go at the start of the year.
I just think the Falcons will bite the bullet, and if Penix isn't ready, they'll search for a cheaper option to be their own stopgap.
I don't know the numbers. Do you have them offhand? Like what it's going to cost them?
No, I do not.
So are they
it's
just
steep.
So it would be just a trade. You're giving them away.
That would be ideal, I think, if you find an actual partner to say, we just want you to take this money off of our hands. An alternative would be to cut them. That will come with some pretty severe dead cap money and penalties. But we've talked about it. The Broncos managed to overcome it and get back to competitiveness in very short order. Excuse me. Falcons are a really young team, right? Their best players are all on the younger side. We talk about the two rookies on the defensive side of the ball. Bijan, Drake London. If Kyle Pitts is back, he's going to be a free agent himself. If you have to take a bit of it's going to be a first year of a new head coach too, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a bit of a transition year, I don't think it totally synced them as a franchise. So apart from Ewers, no other names jumping out there for you?
Just Ewers and Riley Leonard for me.
Yeah, I think those are fair options. Despite the Panthers, Carolina Panthers, that is, making the playoffs as a sub-500 team this year, and it once again raises the question, why do division winners get in? Why do division winners get a home playoff game guaranteed? I'm sorry. I think the playoff format in its current state is the correct one. You play division games, make them matter. Winning your division should matter.
Yeah, I'm in on this one. And every couple of years this happens. There's a 9-8 team or whatever.
Yeah, I think since 2020, this is already, or maybe just before that, there's already the third sub 500 team that's made it,
right?
Including the Bucks winning the same division a few years ago.
Take away the NFC South and everything kind of falls into play. And I'm glad that it came down to Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Right.
So that division game. It was weird that the Falcons had to say in this.
Yeah,
it was. It's
and they finished with the same record as the two teams that were actually vying for it on Saturday. Unique situation.
Yeah.
Right. Now, could this change once the league finally decides to expand?
Mm-hmm.
And at which point I think we would see a full overhaul realignment of the conferences, of the divisions. I'll hear the arguments then.
Yeah.
But unlike the other leagues, it's crazy. The NFL is the biggest conglomerate of them all, and it does not seem that any sort of expansion is imminent in any sense of the word. Lastly, Kev, January is National Blood Donor Month. Talk about it a lot of this program. I'm a big believer in making taking the opportunity to go donate blood when you have the chance. I most recently went on Boxing Day when I made my way back into the city. And
what color was your blood?
Well, when I'm at home over Christmas, I don't drink very much.
Oh, okay.
Christmas Eve, I did, right? But on Christmas Day, I don't have anything to drink. So I'd fully cleansed out by then. My only qualm with the blood donation process, and this is just in my time of last, let's call it 10 years of being a blood donor, the deteriorating state of the refreshments post-donation. When I first started at the U of A,
what was it?
You had soup.
Ooh.
You had fresh cookies, all these things, hot coffee in the urn. Now, and they're making great advancements. It's like new machines all the time, all this stuff in the actual blood part of it. You're telling me you can't spare a few extra bucks? Like, it's all just like a bag of Lay's chips, a can of soda out of the fridge, bottle of water. Those are great things. I love them. But I do miss that original feeling I got when after I would donate blood, I'd like sit down and have a hot bowl of fresh soup. Even if it was just Campbell's out of a can and they make it for me, I don't care. It's still a nice treat.
Sure. I'm in for you. I'm in on this, Duke. I also see you moving forward, turning into Kramer and storing your own blood in Tupperware containers in the freezer.
I don't have the freezer space. And unless I get one of those like little mini deep freezes to stash in the corner of the office at my apartment, I don't see this happening. My actual fridge freezer space is much too valuable for my pizza pops.
You got 2 pints of Kramer in you, buddy.
And just the sheer terror.
Yeah.
The sheer terror.
Wild screaming. Yeah, good stuff. I'm in, Duke.
Excellent.
Top of the hour, we got Paul Sir from Hoop City. He'll check in. We'll talk about the Raptors. And again, they're just hanging around. They're hanging around. So we'll check in with Paul coming up at the top of the hour. Also at 10:20, Landon Ferraro from our Sports 1440 pre and post game show right here. And you'll hear Landon tonight. I would assume you'll hear him tonight. Sometimes he's got to do the Vancouver Sportsnet stuff too, but I'm sure he'll be on tonight. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by First Round. And Sunday's got even better at First Round, even Saturdays, because we got games on Saturday and Monday night, the one Pittsburgh game. You can win an NFL helmet or a jersey. Plus, you could enjoy the Pro Bowl brunch only at Edmonton's NFL headquarters. That's First Round downtown or on Bourbon Street right here in the mall that has it all. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day for the Edmonton Oilers as they welcome in the Nashville Predators tonight at Rogers Place. Puck drop coming just after 7 o'clock. Pre-game coverage beginning right here in Sports 1440 at 6. Elsewhere around the NHL, 9 of the games, including the Canucks visiting the Sabres. Lightning take on the Avalanche. Stars go up against the Hurricanes. Devils play the Islanders. Maple Leafs host the defending champion Panthers. Vegas is in Winnipeg. And the nightcap, Boston Bruins visit the Seattle Kraken. Seattle on an 8-game point streak. Over on the hardwood, 6 games tonight, including Cleveland visiting Indiana, Memphis hosting Wemby and San Antonio, Miami's in Minnesota, and the nightcap has the Dallas Mavericks visiting the Sacramento Kings. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Paul Surf from Hoop City, as well as our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game show analyst, Landon Ferraro. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing. Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the Hippocratic oath to do no harm and act in the best interest of all pipes, whether PVC, copper, or otherwise.
It's made of snow, Mr. Rooter.
Snow? Things are worse than I had feared.
There's no better plumber than Mr. Rooter.
Exciting news from St. Albert Dodge. The all-new 2026 Jeep Gladiator Sport packages have arrived. They have a great selection and a bunch of colors to choose from. And if you've checked out the Sport, you know it comes in some fun colors. Rugged capability, practical off-road features, and you can get behind the wheel for as low as $49,900. That's right. Put yourself in a brand new Jeep Gladiator Sport for less than $50,000. What more can you ask for? Time to head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Measles is very dangerous during pregnancy, increasing the risk of many severe health-related complications. If you're planning to become pregnant, make sure you have received 2 doses of the vaccine at least 1 month before conception. Don't get measles, get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:02 in Edmonton. Excited to talk a little hoops with our good buddy, Paul Sir from Hoop City. Good morning, Paul.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I got your little note. That was great. It made my day when you wished me a Happy New Year. Or was I one of the 100 on your list? Just automated.
Yeah, at least you know where your place in my life, Kevin. So no. Was a personal note. I was thinking about you and I wanted to wish you a happy holidays.
Thanks, big guy. And I was thinking, okay, it came like a few days after New Year's Day. So I was thinking, okay, by the time all of Paul's Rolodex went forward, I was at the bottom of the list here.
Yes, I am that important. That is for sure.
Oh, man. So New Year's upon us. What's catching your eye in the NBA as we it's not the official second half yet, but we're creeping up on it or whatever. What's catching your eye? And we were talking about the Raptors earlier. They're just hanging in there, Paul, aren't they? They're hanging in, and maybe people didn't expect them to be hanging in at this point, but they had that good 9-10 game run, so they're just sniffing around still.
They're hanging in. They're hanging around. They handled Atlanta 2 consecutive games, handled them easily. RJ's back and playing. Yeah, like you said, I think I think they're exceeding expectations just by being relevant right now, Kevin. And it's nice to see, because they have been irrelevant the last few years. And trade rumors continue to percolate about the possibility of moving RJ, perhaps quickly, perhaps Jakob. So we'll see before the trade deadline if they make any significant moves. But yeah, they're playing well. Ingram's been very good. Scotty's been very good. They're a pretty fun team to watch. They defend well. So yeah, good for the Raptors. It's great to see them being competitive again.
Yeah. You mentioned so many guys, including RJ Barrett, that are, the names float out there. Rumors are always persisting. But the makeup of the team is pretty good. It's almost like they should be adding more than getting rid of this core. Where are you at with that, Paul?
Well, I'm with you 100% on that, because like the danger of I think the danger that so many franchises have succumbed to is they look for ways to make big moves and not give what they've put together a chance to really gel. And I think in the Raptors case, that's definitely the situation that they're in. RJ has been hurt for an extended period of time and was playing very well and very effectively prior to his going down. So let's let this percolate and see where this goes. They spent a ton of dough on Quickly. He was hurt most of last year. The same goes for Ingram, and I know he's not involved in any trade rumors at the present time. But I agree with you. You'd have to make something really special happen in order for them to justify being able to, to improve the team dramatically by moving some of these players.
Yeah. Paul's here with us on Sports 1440. I think you and I have discussed the NBA Cup, Paul, several times, and I don't know what the hell it is. And the only thing that I can say for sure is when I watch the Raptors games during the NBA Cup, my retinas explode because of the floor.
Yeah, but, you do need the special 3D glasses.
No kidding. But it's funny, since they started instituting this thing, the team that wins it seems to go on a bit of a lull, and that's what's happened to the New York Knicks now. They've lost 4 in a row. So I don't know, is it just one of those things, or like how would you try to explain it if you could?
I look at the NBA Cup as more of an irritant than an addition for the reasons you described. I think the NBA sometimes tries so hard and looks for any possible way to create what they perceive to be as excitement or generate interest.
Yeah.
I don't know that it generated interest, but it reminds me somewhat of what happened in the NHL last year after that great series that happened mid-season, but it seemed to take a lot out of certain players, and it ended up, I believe, in a couple of key injuries taking place during it. I don't see the merit in it, to be honest. As you point out, the Knicks come out of that on a bit of a high. They're celebrating. There's confetti all over the place, blah, blah, blah. But now they go back to the regular season and they're struggling. Look, this doesn't have anything to do with the Cup, but look at OKC. I mean, it is like they came crashing down to earth with the first loss being to, I believe. Well, no, they lost one game before to the Spurs before the Cup game, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
And then they lost the third game, and since then, I think they've been pretty much 500 over the last 12 or 13 games. So they're very human. They're very beatable. They're a little beat up. But I think that to go back to your original point, Kevin, I think the NBA Cup is more of an unnecessary, pointless distraction during the regular season. There's enough compelling narratives. You don't need gaudy courts, and you don't need this kind of these games that kind of matter and kind of don't. Heck, the championship game doesn't even count in the record of the teams. Like, what the heck is that? It's just, it's just like some guys are sitting around the room going, hey, why don't we do this? And let's try it and see. It's kind of that old thing. You throw enough against the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah, no kidding. Paul Sir with us on Sports 1440. Do you think Giannis gets traded here in 2026? And if he does, is Miami the landing spot, Paul?
Two answers. No, but I hope so.
Okay.
I would love to see Giannis have a change of scenery. I would love to see him in Miami. I think Eric Spoelstra is an absolute genius of a coach. I think there would be such an interesting. It would have. This is the kind of interesting effect a trade would have on the league. I believe, and Miami is a franchise that I would really like to see Giannis go to. Now, you have to make room for his brother, who's not going to play a minute for you effectively. But, hey, that comes with the territory of a guy who's going to give you 30 a night. So, but I don't know that the Bucks are going to do it. I don't know if Miami can offer them enough to do it. And Giannis, unlike some of the other stars in the league, has come back from his injury and is playing really well, and the team's playing a bit better. So it'll be interesting to see if Milwaukee gives it one more shot to try to build a team around him again, or if it's time to just throw in the towel. Personally, time to move on, I believe. And I'd love to see it be in Miami.
Yeah. Is there another fit for another team? Do they have the pieces to maybe pull them out of Milwaukee?
I think Giannis, the great thing about him is he's a great fit for a lot of teams. It'll come down to what you have to give up to get him. Certainly, like what kind of team can you have? Will you still have around him if you bring him into your organization? And that's always the dicey thing with a blockbuster trade piece like Giannis is you give up so much, and it ties somewhat into our discussion about the Raptors, I think, Kevin, is that you try it, but it may not work the way you think it will work. Like if you can slide Giannis in to a really good team, fantastic. But man, there's got to be a lot of. You don't want to do a Luka Doncic trade. Mm-hmm. You certainly don't want to do that. So I don't know of any other team that I could look at and say that's the fit. That's where he should go, because I don't know what the components are going to be in order to make that happen. Mm-hmm. Miami is kind of clear cut. They've got some good pieces. I think it wouldn't help Milwaukee enough to be a contender, but it would keep them respectable and hanging around. And I think Giannis in Milwaukee with the pieces, or in Miami rather, with the pieces that they'd have left, Kevin, yeah. I think they'd have a shot at being very good running in the playoff run up.
I was looking at NBA MVP odds. SGA obviously at the top of the list with Luka Doncic as well. But then I saw that Cade Cunningham from Detroit really rocketing up. How underrated is this player in Detroit, Paul?
I think there's a couple of new contenders, Cade being one and Jaylen Brown being the other. Both of them are playing extremely well. Cunningham absolutely pasted the Knicks against the wall in their blowout win last night. Cunningham's really good. The thing about Cunningham that's so intriguing is the guy's 6'7", and he's such a great playmaker. He's always close to a triple-double, and I would call it an honest, effort-driven triple-double every night. Cunningham is the principal reason for the dramatic turnaround in Detroit over the last 2 years. You've got a guy who I don't think he'll be the MVP if SGA stays healthy this year. And SGA wouldn't have been the MVP if Jokic had remained healthy. Yeah. But I think, and SGA's taken a little bit of he's taken some hard knocks for the first time the last couple of games. This is going to be interesting because teams are defending him harder and really, really throwing a lot of double teams at him and getting the ball out of his hands even faster than they haven't before. But I digress. Cade Cunningham's really good. He will be an MVP one day. And the impact he's having and the play of Jaylen Brown, my goodness. Boston being where they're at, losing the players they lost, Tatum, Porzingis, Horford, Holiday, and they're in the thick of it in the East. Really impressive, and that's almost exclusively due to the high-level play of Jaylen Brown.
Right. Hey, I have to ask you about the Alberta Pandas basketball team. They've got Saskatchewan in town this weekend. They're number 1 and number 2 ranked respectively in U Sports. But when you look at the Canada West standings, I got Alberta, Calgary, Regina, and Saskatchewan all at 10-0. Has this ever happened before, Paul, going into the second half here?
I've never seen it. Certainly, I don't think it ever has. But there's an asterisk that goes by that, and that's the way the schedule is structured. They haven't played anybody yet. Now they're going to play each other, so those zeros are going to go away, and that's going to happen certainly this weekend with this marvelous, wonderful matchup. And I would just do a shout out, folks. Get over to the gym. Get over to Saville. Watch the number 1 and number 2 teams in the country with, I believe, the 2 best coaches in the country, and Lisa Tomaitis and Scott Edwards. You've got 2 fabulous teams coming up. This is a fantastic matchup this weekend. Weather's going to be warmer. Saville parking's going to suck. We all know that, but just get out there anyway. So I think this is really a special matchup. And in Canada West, a bunch of undefeated teams. That's all going to change, and that causes, I think, for great action in the second half of the season.
Where do you park at Saville, Paul, or do you have your helicopter pad working?
Oh, it's that special parking spot where they have the attendance at every day that they put aside for me. Yeah, I'm like everybody else. I'm hoofing it from wherever I can find a spot.
Valet parking for Paul Sir.
Yeah, right. Put that memo in. That's with the U of A Board of Regents right now. They're looking to pass that through. So,
did I miss anything else you want to hit on here, Paul, before we close it up?
Unfortunate about Jokic's injury. Yeah. Terrible thing to have happen. Thank goodness it wasn't worse. Same with Wemby. That's the thing about Wemby. You see that long frame. He's much stronger. He's much better. But, man, is he vulnerable because he's so darn athletic, and he finds himself in those situations where he's making an athletic play. We always thought that Jokic had a chance of continuing to go and be an Iron Man because he doesn't play vertically. He plays horizontally. Yeah. And so it's unfortunate, but that's what happens in sport. But no, other than that, it's NBA is intriguing. It's great. We're excited about our show this weekend, and we got lots to talk about. And Kevin, I always appreciate you having me on.
I love it all the time too, Paul. Have a great show on Saturday, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Look forward to it. Take care.
Paul's here from Hoop City. You can hear the program 10 to 12 right here with Josh Fenwick. I was looking over to Josh for a couple questions. He didn't look like he was prepared. I was looking at him, and he looked like he was he wasn't really engaged in the conversation with Paul.
I was patiently waiting, and when you brought up the MVP numbers, I was like, I got to go take a look at this for myself.
And they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of nuts, actually.
So Cunningham is at 3 or 4, or what is it?
I think he was ranked. I think he was ranked second or third, actually, behind Luka. Yeah, but the odds weren't that far apart.
Yeah, the gap's closing.
The gap is really closing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and if OKC continues to skid,
what would your follow-up question been for Paul?
Well, I would have asked him about OKC and SGA, and then sort of how the Timberwolves and the Spurs have knocked them off their game, and now they're losing games to the Hornets and things. And what do you think?
They've lost 2 in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think is happening to the Thunder that they're now giving up these games? My follow-up would have been, do you think the addition of Jalen Williams to the lineup has actually messed with the functionality of the OKC Thunder?
Would you have asked Paul about the Pandas basketball?
I would not.
No. A nice local angle this weekend. You should head down to the Saville Center.
What day is it?
Friday and Saturday. Friday will be 6 o'clock, I think. Bears to follow.
I might have to.
And then I think 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Might have to pull up.
There you go. It's not volleyball. I know you're big on volleyball with was it? Oh,
no. Hey, whoa now. Whoa.
Is that who it was, right?
We'll talk about it later.
We got him. When we come back, Landon Ferraro. That's on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and very blushing Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, and Instagram and Twitch.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Reduce joint pain and inflammation with Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Gel Caps, packed with a perfect ratio of omegas 3, 6, and 9 to support optimal health. Find this vegan, gluten-free formula at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Here, you can take your time, explore the latest Fords, and enjoy the no-pressure atmosphere. It's not just about cars. It's about family, comfort, and trust. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1021 in Edmonton. Time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, when we say we're on this road together, we really mean it. From tires, wheels, oil changes, to vehicle repairs, visit fountaintire.com to find out more. As we welcome back Landon Ferraro, our Sports 1440 pre- and post-game analyst. Morning, Landon. You're with Kevin Karius once again. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it, big guy.
No worries. It is an absolutely miserable day weather-wise in Vancouver this morning, so I'm not doing anything else anyway. So thanks for helping me kill the morning a bit.
So what's so bad? Just what? Rain, sleet? What do we got going?
Oh, just rain. Just relentless rain.
Man.
And when you got a 2-year-old toddler trying to get them into daycare and they don't want to run that direction, the relentless rain, you feel it a little more.
Oh, man. Well, you don't have to shovel it, though.
To be honest, like, I miss the shoveling. At least you guys get some sunlight once in a while.
We got great weather coming up here too, Landon. Like we're at -1 for a high later today, and we're getting up to +6 and +7 for the weekend. So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
So that sounds amazing. For us,
Yeah.
it just gets that bone. Like for you guys, if it gets cold, you put another jacket on. For us,
Yes.
it rains. You get that bone chill. You never get warm.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, before we get to Oilers, just want to maybe get your thoughts on the World Juniors and how things panned out, you know, for the Americans, for the Canadians, and then to see Sweden and the Czechs in the final. And man, the Czechs they just wouldn't quit, and they came back. And I thought it was just fun to watch at the very end of the game last night. Maybe just an overall thought on the tournament.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like I was so busy with everything going on in the NHL and with the Canucks, I didn't get to watch nearly as much as I have in past years. I mean, just like everyone else, like the World Juniors is the best best part of the holidays, and so just seeing what I did, you know, my kind of taking thought, I guess, is just it's amazing how far the game has come in the past even 10 years of how, like before when I was growing up watching Canada play, when they played the Czechs or the Slovaks, like they were going to win 11-1. Like you were waiting to see who would pop off and get the hat trick. And now it's not, okay, like how much are they going to win by, but it's, are they going to win? And, you know, going against the States, they get bumped out early. Like Canada goes out earlier than obviously they'd like to and end up with the bronze. But like, again, just how far the other nations have come. But looking at Canada specifically, to me, it just seems like they've lost their way a little bit with how, and it's not even how they construct the teams. It's how players are made now, like how they're raised in the game. Everything is so individual skill, and the players are phenomenally skilled. It's amazing what the young guys can do now compared to what they did 10 years ago. But in saying that, like the thing that made Canada so good was they were always the best team, and they had the elite scorers, but then they had a Jordan Tutu running around.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you can't have a Jordan Tutu running around anymore because he'd be kicked out of every game. But in that sense, like they intimidated teams. They played together. Now it just seems like it's a skill off most of the time.
Do you think, Landon, then, like, and I've mentioned Tutu here probably 10 times on this show, and like another guy like Downey and these guys. So, and I think the question came, do those players exist anymore? And if they don't, and you mentioned it, Tutu would be probably kicked out of every game from running guys through the boards. So, but that's what Canada was about, and that's how they changed momentum in games. So, like, are we missing that? What are we looking at here, Landon?
I mean, a little bit, but I think that, or not a little bit, like for sure we are. But, you know, even again, like I just think back to me as a young hockey player, like even like, you know, an 8, 9, 10-year-old. Like, of course, I looked at Sidney Crosby and, you know, all of those guys, like the best players, and you'd watch their highlights and all of that. But I felt like there was so much more talk and respect for the guy that went out and blocked shots and ran around and did all of those things. Like, yeah, guys, like if a guy goes out and fights, the fans love it and everything. And they definitely respect the guys that play the game hard and do, you know, play on the PK and all of that. But it was almost like a point of pride to be that guy. And I don't think that's there anymore. Like now every kid has a phone. They have TikTok. They have all these things. All they see is elite talent at all points. And that's what they try and emulate. And that's how they want to play. So it's just a different game. It's a different thing.
Personally, for you, you played in the Olympics. It's coming up 4 years here now. Must feel, I don't know if it feels like 4 years ago, but for you, when you were in Red Deer, were you close to being on the radar there? Like, did you hear any rumblings that you maybe had a shot to play in the World Juniors?
No, to be honest, like I, you know, my best year junior was my draft year, and you know, I wasn't making it as an underager, so that wasn't going to happen. And then, you know, honestly, like the rest of my career, there was a lot of injuries, so I never even really gave it would have been tough for me anyway, just with how deep Canada is all the time. But yeah, I didn't even really get a shot at it.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep saying that was the main reason.
I thought maybe that, you know, in 08, 09, you had 37 goals. So, you know, you must have been.
Yeah, that was my 17-year-old year though, too,
Yeah.
right? So, and it's funny, you look back and, you know, I had a good amount of goals, but, you know, I think you said 17. Like by Christmas time, I mean, our team might have had 30 as a whole group. Our teams were so bad. So it was a little easier to cherry pick a goal here or there.
Yeah. Landon Farrar with us on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440. Oilers take on Nashville tonight. A couple of losses here at home over Christmas, including Saturday's 5-2 decision to Philadelphia. There's so much talk on this show. I'm sure you get it with walks and stuff, but the third and fourth lines and the bottom six. Where are you at with this team right now? They're still trying to find something. They haven't been able to find anything almost the entirety of the year from the third line, especially. Where are you at with this? Is it personnel, Landon? Is it who's playing with whom? What do you think here?
Oh, I think it's personnel for sure. I mean, for the Oilers, they have a lot of guys in the bottom six that are kind of the same, right? Like really hard workers. They've injected some youth this year that is changing it a little bit, but even last year it was the same conversation during the regular season. Like, Kapanen, Janmark, Henrique, like you can go through the list of guys there, and they really struggled to produce. And consistently, it was definitely out of the question. It would hit once in a while. They showed up at just like the year before, and really helped come playoff time. Especially like Janmark scored some big goals last playoff run and all of it. But during the regular season, like they really struggled to find any production from there. So, to me, and me and Walks were talking about it on the pregame before the Philly game. And it's, I think that they need to go and find that piece right now. Like if they're going to be able to add a first line winger, a second line winger, and then you can drop, a Podkolzin down into the third line. And, I think that he could really do some good work there. I think that playing with Draisaitl as long as he has now, he's learned more offense. And now he can't grow anymore because it's Draisaitl. He's going to, you have to play through him. But if you can get Podkolzin down to the third line, I think he can generate more offense for you. I'm not saying he's going to turn into a 20-goal scorer all of a sudden, 25-goal scorer, but he can help drive some more hard offense, getting pucks to the net, driving it in there. But if you can add that bottom six piece earlier now, I think it would help. Let the team have more time for that player to get integrated in and figure it out, but also start finding that chemistry because, again, they rely so much on McDavid and Draisaitl, like any team would, but they need a break once in a while. They need to be able to not take a night off, but take a night off.
Yeah. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, obviously you know him well from Red Deer. Is he an answer at 3C? And then again, it's probably easier to find a 3C than to find a guy that's playing with Connor and Zach Hyman. But I mean, that's the only line that's going right now. But I think Ryan Nugent-Hopkins can easily drive the line at 3C. Where are you at with that?
I'm right with you. I've been saying that since last year, since basically doing the show with Walks. And to me, it's the best way. Like if you can find that player to play up with McDavid and however that shakes out, but if you can find that piece that works and Nugent Hopkins gets to slide down, you are infinitely more deeper than you were before, right? Like now you're talking about a guy that can legitimately make plays and handle good minutes and be able to play, a bigger role. He's so good up with McDavid that I understand why he's there and just with the pieces that they have. But looking big picture and you're trying to win a Stanley Cup, a McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins as your top three centers is a pretty good way to start with that.
Yeah. It looks like Connor Ingram is going to start tonight, Landon. But I was looking at the stats from last year, and Cal Pickard played all 3 games against Nashville, won all 3 games. He had a save percentage of .934 in those 3 games. Would a coaching staff not look at that and kind of go, hey, maybe he would be the guy tonight? Or would you just want to roll out Ingram because of how he performed against Boston a couple of games ago?
Yeah, I think right now they're more concerned with figuring out who's going to be that goalie when Jari gets back. And to do that, they need to see Ingram again. They need to see him a few more times. So getting him in, and let's be honest, like this isn't the Nashville Predators team of, a good chunk of years ago that you're like, okay, we need to make sure we are so dialed in or we're going to have a tough night. Not that you can take them lightly, but if the Oilers play the way that they should, especially after a couple losses now, it shouldn't be an issue. So it doesn't really matter, not to, it sounds like I'm just saying it doesn't matter who's in net, but you give Ingram the start. You need to see him. You need to see more play out of him. He had his couple good starts when he got up here in Edmonton, but then he had a tough one. And it's not like his stats were blowing you away in the minors, right? Like they were right at the bottom of the league. So he needs to keep getting game time. They need to be able to watch him, and they know what Pickard is. At best and worst, they know exactly who Pickard is, and really it's up to Ingram to steal the job because he's going to have to really outplay Pickard to take that spot from him.
One last one for you, Landon, just regarding Nashville. Steven Stamkos picked up his 600th career goal the other day. Wonderful career. He'll probably be top, 14, 15 when it's all said and done, when his career's over in NHL scoring. What do you think of a guy that's coming in? He's going to pass. He could pass Yari Curry tonight with a couple of goals because Curry's at 601. So maybe just a thought on Steven Stamkos in his great career.
I mean, that guy can still one-time a puck, right? Like, the first time I ever came across, I'd obviously heard of him, but the first time I came across and played against Stamkos was, I think it was 2005 or 6. I can't remember, but it was or it may have even been 07. It was one of those years. But it was the Canada Winter Games. So every 4 years, the under-17s are Canada Winter Games. So me and two other guys got to play for Team BC as underagers. And we make it all the way to the bronze medal game. And we're playing Team Ontario. Oh, sorry, this is in the semifinals because we ended up playing Alberta in the bronze. So we play Ontario, and, it's Pietrangelo, Stamkos, like the list just goes on, but Stamkos was like a god at this tournament. And, so I'm excited to play him. And I remember we lost in overtime. I believe it was 5-4. And I remember I remember his crazy one-timer goal that he had. But like other than that, like I didn't notice him. Yeah, he had 4 assists as well. Like he was the best player on the ice. And then, again, not to keep bringing it to me, but it's how I see him as well is, like my greatest memories in the NHL were that playoff series, Detroit against Tampa Bay, where they end up going to the final and losing that year. But like getting to be out there and seeing him in prime time, in his prime of his career, and being in those PK meetings and how much basically everything was about him. You had to worry about Kucherov, but you had to worry about Stamkos' one-timer. And just like how much emphasis, and to see the longevity with the injuries that he's had, and we're talking Olympics a bit earlier, like he was one of the really unlucky guys that just with the timing of his career doesn't have that, right? So in the same sense that he would. So, he's had an unbelievable career. It's amazing to see. I guess the easiest way, I'm always amazed when a guy has that much hype and can actually deliver on it, right? And that's the best part.
Yeah, and for him, to have such a, last year was really tough, and even the start of this year was tough. So is that just a guy that, he's been around a long time and he still knows he can do it? But is it confidence with a guy that's 35 years old too, Landon?
100% it is, but it's also, and I would bet a bit of this was what was happening last year. I think some of it is for so long you're used to playing the game a certain way because your body allows you to do that. And then you do get a bit older and you go to try and do something, it doesn't quite work the same. And then you end up signing with a team that you think is going to be one direction, but it's not. And before you know it, you think you're working the same way, but you're now trying to find the play instead of making the play happen. And I feel like he's kind of got back to that a little bit, to where he's interjected himself into the play a bit more. Like for a bit there, he knew how good he was, and he knew he was working the right way, and it just, there was no results. And before you know it, he's sitting on the outside. He's got himself back in a bit. It looks like he's having fun playing again a bit, which is going back to your first question of like, is it confidence? Like, fun is tied right into confidence, right? And it looks like he's got that back.
Hey, Landon, great stuff. Really appreciate it. Have a good pre and post with walks tonight, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for coming on as always.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, that's Landon Ferraro. And our puck report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we focus on one thing and one thing only, and it is your vehicle. Check it out at fountaintire.com to book your appointment today. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Got some great text to get to as well. 833-401-1440. It's Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne and Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Happy New Year. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for everything in 2025. With your help and your support, we fed almost 500 families. We donated to various charities in the Edmonton area, and we're going to do it again in 2026. Please stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and even though it's a few months past Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks right now. This is the time of year when so many people go to the new RV show and buy their new RVs.
All the new RV stores are bragging about the latest makes and models.
That's right, Bob. Those beautiful state-of-the-art RVs are brand new right up until the time they leave the showroom. Then they're used. Just like every quality used RV on our lot, somebody pays full price at the RV show or at the new RV store, and in a matter of seconds, it's worth tens of thousands of dollars less just because they picked it up.
Where does all that money go, Rick?
It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell those same RVs just a few years later. If it wasn't for new RV buyers, we'd be out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
NobleRV.ca.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 10:43 in Edmonton. Duke had it in or out. One of the questions about, I guess, a backup competing or starting next year. And he said the only guy that really was on his list was Kirk Cousins. The only two other guys that I could think of, there was a whole whack that played there in the last weekend of the regular season schedule, was Quinn Ewers out of Miami, Riley Leonard with the Colts. But as Duke said, just clockwork, the Falcons, and this is from Field Yates reporting, ESPN, Falcons and Kirk Cousins have agreed to modify the final 2 years of his contract. So this will set the stage for a decision on his future in Atlanta. Now, as part of the restructure, Yates reporting, there is now a guarantee in the amount of $67.9 million for the 2027 season. And that comes into fruition on March the 13th. Yates goes on to say, given the highly unlikely nature that the Falcons or any team that would acquire Cousins via trade to March 13th would want to be in on the hook for that $67.9 million, a decision on the future of Cousins would come prior to that date. So a lot of moving parts here, really, when you look at it. Restructure also included reducing his base salary from a non-guaranteed $35 million to just $2.1 million. So there's the number, Duke, that we're looking at.
And then, yeah, the kind of one of the final articles here is like, so if they decided to release Cousins ahead of this March 13th date, it would split the dead money for the Falcons over both years rather than having to them take it all on this coming season. And it gives them a little more cap flexibility this summer, yada, yada, yada. So, you know, read the tea leaves in whatever direction you want. Yeah, I still don't think they're going to bring him back. And this does make the release more stomachable for them in terms of how they manage their salary cap.
And Penix was a knee injury, correct?
Yeah, another knee injury. Because he had 2 ACLs in college, I believe. One for sure.
Well, so that's, again, some moving parts, but the process is in order now for them to move forward, if they so choose to.
Right.
So, text 833-401-1440. Kenneth says, didn't check when the 98 Olympics. Yeah, they sure did. Had a big party, too. Rerouted the plane from Nagano to get back to Czechoslovakia to shake her up instead of coming to North America. Large Farva texts in. It caught the end of that basketball news on the game at the Saville. What time and who's playing? Well, we got the Alberta Pandas at 10-0 up against the Saskatchewan Huskies. Friday, Saturday, 6 o'clock on a Friday, 5 o'clock on the Saturday. Bears to follow against Saskatchewan. So you can hit a couple games if you so choose to. But as Paul said, I mean, there's 4 or 5 teams that are 10-0 here moving forward to the second half of the season. Unbelievable how the schedule panned out. Now you're going to start playing some of these teams that are also 10-0. So Joe texts in, says, just noticed that Sweden did not have one kid playing junior hockey in Canada. Playing against men and older college players is obviously good for them. Okay, well, each country has different philosophies on how you're putting forth players. Like, okay, so the Czechs had a dozen guys in the Western Hockey League alone. They fell a goal short to Sweden in the final. The Sweden lineup, when a lot of these kids play at the senior level in Sweden, and a lot of them did, you know, for teams like Barsted, Djurgårdens, Timra, their ice time over there is limited too. You think they're playing top 6 minutes all the time? That's not necessarily the case all the time. So I think each case is different. I mean, look at Anton Frondel, who's a pretty big kid right now. What was he, third overall to Chicago? You know, he looks ready to come over and play at the National League level sooner than later. You know, there was so much talk about, you know, Ivar Stenberg. And Stenberg's he's not a big guy, but he gets involved and he's noticeable all the time. I think each player, and I mean, you can look at the drafted players. I mean, Sweden had probably, I don't know how many drafted players on Sweden. I maybe do a quick check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16. I mean, that's probably what Team Canada was, 15, 16. So, I mean, each case study is different from country to country on how you develop players and how you move forward. And again, people have been saying about the Canadian template. Like, we even had one text here. This is from Kevlar. Like, this is a blanket statement, Kevlar, I think. His statement is Canada is made up of hockey academy entitled kids nowadays. Well, okay, hockey academies have been going on for a number of years now. That is the way of where many of these players are developed. Man, we had Bobby O on just before, the new year, talking about the Bantam tournament at Collingwood. Way different than all the academies. There's still players that are there that are able to continue their hockey careers that don't go to hockey academies. But that's where the money is driven. That's where the parents of players push their kids to, because of the amount of training that they get. To say that the kids are entitled at 14, 15, 16 years old, I would say that, again, that would be a blanket statement to say that all the kids are entitled. There are a lot of kids that, when players, parents try to get their kids into these academies, I mean, they're just scraping by, man. But they want the very best for their kid. And they have to be, the other thing too here is that the parents have to realize that like 1 or 2% of these kids are going to move on to a higher level of hockey. Some of them, most of them don't even get to the Western League. That's just the way it is. Some of them might get to the NCAA, but the amount of kids that go into the academies, the large percentage of them don't move on. It's just the way it is. Greater Man Jay says, hey, KK, I think he just means Canada is getting soft. Well, again, this was soft in losing to Czech. Is that what you're saying, Greater Man? I mean, that was a hell of a game against Czech. Canada kept coming back. Czechs played hard. We had other texts about Canada not being able to do to the Czechs what Sweden did to the Czechs. You got to remember, these are young kids that make mistakes on the ice. They've been built up for the World Junior Tournament for years and years, mostly by TSN, I would say, because this is their baby over a 2-week holiday period over Christmas, and their ratings show it. They drop off, obviously, for a bronze medal game and a gold medal game when Canada is not involved. There's a lot of moving parts here. Atticus says, was Laddie on the bench? No, Laddie was coaching last year with the junior team. Too much of a time commitment, but we're going to get Laddie's take on it coming up this Thursday after he was in Switzerland for a week working with the under 18 or 17 team, whatever it was. But, like Laddie knew every guy on this team, especially that defense core. When you think about that defense core, led by Jiricek, this is a guy that's, he's getting damn close to being NHL ready as well. That big Murtis guy, what's his name? Murtak's a big body, 6'3", 6'4". And you mentioned the young kid not drafted, Galvis. This is a guy that, when you start having guys comparing him to Lane Hudson, as far as a guy that is developing late, there will be a lot of teams that will be interested in him for sure. Text 833-401-1440. Did I miss anything, Duke, before we kind of wrap things up here? I'm just going to check on that.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Just in case anybody did miss it, like obviously you mentioned Ingram is going to start tonight, but it is confirmed that both Mangiapane and Trent Frederick will be in the press box as indicated by yesterday's practice.
Yeah. Oh, boy. JP, who drafted Yurchek, and I think you're talking Adam Yurchek, and it was the St. Louis Blues. And he was 16th overall.
Yeah, middle of the first round, something.
16th overall in last year's draft, 2024. So plays in Brantford for the Bulldogs. That's Zach Hyman's team.
Brantford's got a lot of players at the World Juniors overall. I mean, they're a loaded team this year.
And Yurchek, you think, he's 6'3". He's listed at 185, 190. He's going to be playing at 210.
Yeah, a little bit of filling out to do.
He's going to be playing. And he's got a great shot and things like that. All right. Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
wherever Donovan went to high school. I actually don't know. I don't think we've covered that one before.
I might have more high school years than Donovan.
No, Donovan got into Nate.
I got into other schools.
You had to lie to do that. That we're in today's age of technology and whatnot, Kevin, Donovan wouldn't be able to get away with such finesse moves like you did back in the day.
Lied twice to get in. It's just fine. St. and then Mount Royal.
Yeah, I know.
Calgary schools. This is like Eddie with Winnipeg. Same thing.
Yeah, a little easier.
Same thing. Yeah. 12 o'clock, it's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell. 2 till 6, Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We've got the pregame show with Andrew Walker, Donnie P., Landon Ferraro from 6 to 7. Puck drop just after 7, Predators and the Oilers postgame show to follow. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Quality market, every fresh chef-crafted gourmet meal is handcrafted from scratch and fresh ingredients. They arrive at your door fully cooked and ready. All you got to do is heat them up, eat it, repeat it, the whole bit. Order at meals.loca.ca. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate all the great comments on the text line. We could not do it without you. Hope you have a terrific rest of your Tuesday. We're back with you tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with our co-host, David Schlemko. Until then, here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day of the Edmonton Oilers as they welcome in the Nashville Predators tonight to Rogers Place. Puck drop coming just after 7 o'clock. Connor Ingram slated to start in goal, while both Trent Frederick and Andrew Mangiapane are expected to be healthy scratches in the game. Elsewhere around the NHL, 9 other games, including the Canucks taking on the Sabres from Buffalo, Avalanche in Tampa against the Lightning, Maple Leafs host the Panthers, Golden Knights visit Winnipeg, Sharks take on the Blue Jackets in the nightcap as the Kraken on an 8-game point streak hosting the Boston Bruins. In the PWHL this evening, it's New York and the Scepters going at it from Toronto. And lone game in the AJ this evening, Devon Extreme visiting the Grizzlies down in Olds. In the association, half dozen games, including Orlando taking on the Wizards from Washington, Minnesota hosting Miami, the Lakers, they're in New Orleans to play the Pelicans. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.